If we've had a week of recovery, has Oogie recovered his hit points?
We're gonna start this session off at the beginning of that week
Okay.
because I want to make sure that you guys have time to hear news that's come in over the course of your mission, as well as news that conveniently is rolling in during your week of recovery. Not sure how it aligned like that. Just
All right.
coincidence.
I need to, because we still had two, at least, we've got weeks in transit, don't we?
No, you've got I believe 4 days in transit. So you do get you get 8 hit points back.
Why did, why did we have to stop in Un? Was that a discretionary stop before?
That's your drive is only level 2.
And we had to refuel.
Right. So if how is it only 4 days in transit then? Isn't it 6 days
Be-
normally?
because Connor has Starfare too. He could technically jump do a 3 hex jump. There just wasn't any reasonable landing places for a 3 hex jump from Zentha.
Uh, Dex.
Uh-huh.
I only have Starfarer 1.
Oh. Uh
Yeah. Jeez.
don't you cut time in half? Is that Starfare 1?
Starfarer 2.
Oh, you hadn't taken Starfarer 2 yet.
Right.
You were talking about it, and
Yeah,
you were asking me what kind of benefits could be seen from the increased speed.
Yeah.
Ah, I got myself confused. So consider yourselves to have a few free days.
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of hurrying back when you just have a vacation on the way back? You know, who's going to tell us? Aside from everyone else on the ship.
So yeah, you should be fully healed back on the way back, and I think we ended, or there was some clip in there about Sunny tending to uh, Oogie's injuries. If not, then she certainly will.
Yep. He is a dutiful patient.
Okay. Okay, good. She likes that.
He's never come quite this close to dying before.
That he can remember. No. No, no.
All right. Let's see. Um, I will reconfigure that for the future. Um, yes, it should have been 6 days in transit. It should have been 2 extra days.
Fancy.
All right. And there are some broadcasts that have come in while you were out. Let me make sure I've got them all in here. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to try something new this time with the news. I'm going to try linking it directly in Discord as well. Like the actual audio file. So that if y'all want, you can listen to it again later.
So nice, you listened to it twice.
Yeah. Let's see. Sorry about the silence here. Alright, I'm going to test you guys' audio with the Hidden Richer track. Make sure that your old 20 is pumping sound out to you.
The following broadcast is not.
Everyone hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright. So, this one comes up on your compads as an actual Raza alert. It already has discussion following it. It's been here for a couple of days. I'm gonna play it and then we'll discuss the discussion. Let me just set myself up here real quick. And then sorry, this is a new process and it is taking me a minute here. So we'll see how this works.
Raza, we thought this might be of interest to you. It was tight-beamed from Ecos orbit to Canagiris, then rebroadcast locally. Reverence of Canagiris. This is General Nassim Nuzari, wife of Mansour Nuzari. By divine mandate following the words of Prophet Rasul Zont, of the enlightened Temple of Reverence. Ecos belongs to the gods. Let none trespass lest they suffer the wrath of 1,000 suns. I will hold Ecos orbit in the ship's bellicose duty and pioneer fate to meet with fire and void, any who would defile the sacred ground. 3 days later, we logged a distress message from Ecos orbit. This is acting captain of Pioneer Fate. The androids have mutinied. All crew dead or dying. Bellicose duty is on terminal orbit without engines. Please help. Avoid the gun system if you don't want the distress logged on your black box. Love, Sophia.
See, now I just want to run into the universe characters.
For those that didn't see it, that was a universe scenario that I ran. I mistimed it with you guys a little bit. I had intended for you to have heard this before that session actually got run, because it didn't really make sense for Raza on Kamiego to broadcast it over to you, knowing that you were nowhere near the system in question, kind of gun. So I was like, well, I missed my opportunity last time they were on Kamiegu. I'll just let them hear it when they get there. Oh well. The discussion that follows that is basically we don't have any operations in the area, but kind of sending out a general advisement to our ships, the actual freighters and stuff, to divert if there were any going to gun, divert or delay until Galactic Mandate has resolved the issue, essentially. This next one is a quick advert, interrupting your viewing and broadcast, your viewing of other media.
More news on the freedoms from an exclusive Extratainment Tomorrow special report. ET delves into the heartwarming support from across the sector, how it has helped the freedoms get through this difficult time, and asks the big questions. Are you planning to have more children? And are you following the dramatic reimagining of your own true story, A Dream of Freedom? Watch Extratainment Tomorrow for free on your Showbox chip or some media card, and hear their answers today.
That is all I'm going to run for you right now. I don't want to just run 10 minutes of audio that I've pasted together with AI voices. Let's what would you like to do? Would you like to get into discussing your next mission steps first? Do you want to do some of the intermission scenes first? Do any kind of character bookkeeping or other things first? What's the general mood here?
Well, I'm curious about the retaliation that's taking effect right now. Well, I'll say retaliation, just the fact there's the supply chain issues and such.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm guessing some kind of retaliation against what we did.
Um,
Talking about the Starcross
Oh, very
containment.
coincidental. Because there's one, and it's either the pirates from splitting up the little shindig they had, or if it's something else.
that is certainly something that y'all can bring up. Oh, that was the other housekeeping thing I wanted to ask you guys. Let me put that on hold for just a second, Ben. Because I wanted to ask. I've been kind of shying away from you guys directly engaging with the commanders because I realized a critical blunder I made in forming this campaign. And that's that the commanders are former PCs, and I'm uncomfortable role-playing former PCs as NPCs. I'm just not going to get them right. I still like the way I've set this up. I just want to hear your thoughts on what's the best way to resolve that. Should I just roleplay those as NPCs? They are NPCs now. Or should they have a mouthpiece through which you communicate with them?
I have no opinion on this, because obviously my PC is out flying away somewhere.
Yep, he sure is. Meowkin and Lulu, you guys have affected PCs. Previous NPCs. PPCs.
Probably just easier to keep it to a mouthpiece currently, honestly, but
I kind of thought so, yeah. Okay.
I
preserve.
don't have. Yeah, I don't have strong opinions on this one way or the other.
Okay. I'm going to go with a mouthpiece. An assistant of each LaRue, Nemesis, and Jairao, so that I mean they're very busy people, right? And so
oh yeah,
this is certainly something, Ben, that Marcus can inquire further with the command assistants. Basically asking what are the logistics of these attacks? Are they retaliations? Is there some of the cause, right?
Yeah, it's just more like an idle curiosity. Like he'll hit up his the dude who sold him some druga and see what he's heard.
Okay, sure. um,
It's just mainly like, is their word getting out and what is like being told basically, or is it just coincidence?
well, this dude selling Marcus Snow druga has some opinions of his own. He thinks that the megacorps, well, Mercure Core and Spectre Star technology specifically, because Union's got their own problems right now. Just don't like the risk of Roz's awareness campaign affecting their business.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It's pretty realistic. Hey, it's the end of the universe. Hey, don't do that. It's hurting our bottom line.
I wouldn't draw this from real life ever.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, the Marcus's contact there, who we can assume is fairly in the know just from the candid connections that he has, is of the opinion that this is mostly corporate pushback. There certainly may be other reasons for it, but doesn't think it's necessarily any retaliation. It's just A, who's this new player? Are they trying to compete? And B, Wait a minute. You're telling people that the universe is gonna end. Let's put an end to this.
But see, people telling people the universe is gonna end, it's really gonna drive up demand for, apocalypse material, whatever that is. I don't. Yeah, I got no more.
All right. And
Not even convincing myself on that one.
as you guys are landing and the other NPCs are coming around to check in with you, make sure that everybody survived. Some of you over here, Alexei and Ivan, talking with your crew. You're certainly welcome to engage, but the topic of conversation has turned to, oh, you blew up a condenser. That's fantastic. And Alexei fondly reminisces the first time that the Raza destroyed a condenser. Nobody jumps in, and there's just a little
Oogie
bit.
will jump in.
Okay.
Yeah, I only regret that we had to do it in such a hurry. I imagine there was plenty more data to be gathered, maybe disassemble the thing. As it was, we were under a lot of time pressure, had to just blow the thing and get out.
It was much more relaxed than what I hear you went through. But pretty sight, no? Well, the blue and the swirling.
Certainly interesting.
And gee,
Oh,
The blue and the swirling, did we see some special effects there?
oh yeah,
Let's talk about the portal itself.
yeah, I'm sorry. There was a swirling blue disc. It inscribed within the circle of the condenser machinery, and it wasn't as evident to you, but that bluish also extended out well past the portal. But mostly you just saw the blue within the disc.
The blue within.
Yes. It looked like a portal.
Okay.
And Ivan asks, anybody injured this time?
Oogie raises his hand, and although he's been treated and is back at full health, you can still see scars up and down his arm. So basically, he's raising his hand to say me, and also to show off the scars.
Oof.
So, quite the sight seeing all that skin get flayed off.
This is good for character, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't repeat it if that's what you're asking. No amount of character's worth that.
Both Alexei and Ivan nod enthusiastically in agreement. Was it turret?
No, it was one of them Vega. I mean, thing kind of burst right out of the chest of the person it was inhabiting and ripped the skin right off my arms.
Alexei shudders.
it wasn't the nicest of things to witness.
Oogie nudges. What's your character?
Marcus.
Marcus. Thank you. Oogie nudges Marcus. Weren't the best thing to experience either.
I can imagine.
Both the Russians give a good chuckle over that. This is from Ivan. I was in medbay for... What was it, Alexei? A week? A week laying there with Elena after that.
Well, I reckon you had it a little bit worse off than I did. At least I was up and walking.
Alexei volunteers. He makes a motion like a gun, but a gun that's held above him. A big turret on top of building. Caught us flat-footed. All three of us in the hospital.
I can't whistle, but Archibald can. He does an impressed whistle.
Ivan kind of points at his chest. Yeah, the ribs broken, shattered, one of them, and punctured lungs. Elena had it worst of all. Well, aside from you could have died, Ivan. Elena would have just bled out. That's also dying, Alexei.
Yeah, just a bit more painful and slow.
Ah. Oh.
Actually, I'm pretty sure bleeding out's kind of cozy.
Yeah, well, it's knowing the inevitable.
Seeing the panic in her eyes was the worst injury of all.
Yeah, the rest of the injuries that hurt like hell.
Alexei,
Oogie just shakes his head, and you see kind of a darkness cross his face. I reckon the fella I used to be thought he knew what he was signing up for, but I don't think anything could prepare you for this.
Alexei comes forward and puts a hand on Oogie's uninjured shoulder. May be a difficult road, friend, but it is a valuable one, and an honorable one. And how else would you have Ivan's spicy special sauce?
Oogie just looks confused about that. Are you like offering to make me dinner or something?
Yes.
Ivan's eyes light up. Any dish you want. Name a dish. Challenge me.
Come on, Oogie. Pressure's on now.
I'd like some Camiego style chili. That means you gotta go hunt the rattlesnakes yourself.
No need. Rattlesnakes have already been hunted. It's good. I'll get to work right now. A good welcome home dinner. Ivan starts backing away to go make Camiego chili stew. Or you didn't say stew. Camiego chili.
So, you ever... What are we in for here?
What do you mean, what are you in for?
I mean, what's this food you've signed us up for?
Well, rattlesnake chili, didn't you hear me?
I thought it was like, a name. Like,
No, you're out in the desert, and you got yourself a pot of beans, and you think to yourself, well, this would be good if we had some meat. And then a snake just kind of slithers into the camp, and you say, well, there it is. The good Lord has provided.
Right, okay. Well, I suppose I'll try it and give my verdict then.
The venom really gives it that tingle.
I can imagine it's going to be an interesting battle of, I guess, flavors and chemicals.
Alexei leans in. Is this stew usually spicy? Or chili. I keep saying stew. Is this chili usually spicy?
I mean, it depends on what you got on hand, but, I mean, something's got to cover up the taste of the rattlesnake.
Good.
Well, not necessarily. It's an acquired taste.
I mean, I suppose if you've got yourself some fancy farm-raised rattlesnakes, they don't taste so nasty. But the ones that are living out on the range, I mean, eating whatever will grow out there.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
It's good. Ivan has been looking forward to cooking those snakes since we started catching them.
Well, I'm glad to provide them with an opportunity then.
Duh.
Just make sure to include some of the venom.
Oogie leans over to Marcus. I really just hope to give him a challenge. Honestly, the rattlesnakes don't taste very good.
So you're
Arch?
why you make? So you're punishing us? To me, that sounds like you're punishing us.
It's not exactly a punishment, more like a cultural experience.
There's worse things out there you can eat in Hamiega, you know.
I'll take your word for it.
There's a lot of roots. A lot of roots.
I mean, realistically, snakes, as I understand, it doesn't taste that bad.
No, it doesn't taste that bad. This is more along the lines of like any mostly poor culture, meat, no matter how bad it is a luxury.
Down in the Bahamas, you can't eat. We did some fishing down there. It was can't really eat barracuda, but the people down there will. So you do any fishing there, and the captain that we were with is like, "Yeah, keep it. And we'll give it to the locals."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a tolerance for like, you know,
Okay, I was gonna ask.
or something. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know the specifics really, but you know, we left it to the expert.
That makes sense. All right, so these are your first a couple days back. Is there anything you guys want to get up to before I slap the next little news broadcast at you?
Man, how do I get a discount on a heavy machine gun? Or I'm sure someone's willing to chip in for me. I just need 325 more credits to get myself a heavy machine gun. I'm pretty sure that'll be pretty useful in the long run, even if I don't become a heavy weapon specialist. That's something
Max will
Archibald's will
give
be
you
looking
that.
around with his strength. Cool. So
And
I'll
how
just
much
put
did you
myself-
need?
325.
Done.
Cool. In that case, I'll have a heavy machine gun for our next mission.
All right.
Suppression is really powerful in this.
Yeah, especially when the GM is running enemies as intended, and not every enemy has the same amount of hit dice as you have. Yeah, I mean that actually makes a huge difference in the combat dynamics, in my opinion.
I mean, just the fact that you can hit so many targets.
Yeah, but I'm talking more about their saving throws. You know,
Oh,
1 and
that
2
too.
hit dice targets are have a save of 14 or 15, whereas if it's scaled with you, then they would save at least half the time.
I mean, let me see. I'm trying. A save is still like half damage or something, right? Or is it no damage on a? I'll have to double check that. Regardless, in my experience, it's always been a good thing.
It has, yeah. Well, let's kind of push along. There's your ship is being powered down and serviced and maintenanced. In a few hours, it's nearing nightfall already, and it's a little bit weird to you guys because you've been on a different planet cycle. It's still, well, no, I guess you would have reoriented yourself towards Kamiego on your way here, so we'll just let that go. Yeah. So no, you're on the same cycle. It's coming to around dinner time, and Okay, you smell something familiar coming from the building that has been newly designated as the mess hall. The previous mess hall was made of wood and was small. It also had stains in visible places. And so a new building has been built with modern materials. Hasn't been labeled, but he can smell rattlesnake and that distinctive tang that comes from cooked or boiled venom in combination with a specific spice on Kamiego. Because I don't know if rattlesnake venom is edible or if it has a smell. So in combination with this spice that isn't available anywhere on Earth, it does.
I mean, rattlesnake jelly doesn't typically involve the venom, but sure.
You can absolutely bring that concern to Ivan, or let that be part of the Kamiego lore here. I'm giving
I will
you
let
narrative.
that be part of the Kamiego lore. That's fine.
Only Archibald and Oogie know that there's actual venom in this stew, or in this chili, and know that it has to be prepared a certain way, or it's not as bad as being injected in your blood by a bite, but it's still not great for you.
Gives it a nice kick.
No, it's perfectly safe to eat venom,
Is it?
unless you have an ulcer.
Because venom is a blood.
Yeah, it only
It's a
functions
blood
if it
poison.
gets into your.
Oh,
it only
right.
functions if it
Difference
gets
between
into your
venom and
blood.
poison. Okay.
Most, I guess, presumably some venom could be poisonous, but I think most isn't because it just gets basically neutralized by the acid in your stomach.
Okay. It's still going to be off-putting to off-worlders.
I like to imagine it has a tingle though when you eat it.
Sure.
Adds to the spice or kick.
Ivan is in the kitchen area. A very nice kitchen area has been provided in this new galley, with ample freezer space, way more than you guys need. It looks like Raza. Oh, that was the other housekeeping thing. Okay, it looks like Raza has been building this up for a much larger military installation. I'm going to put that on pause for just a second because we may end up changing that. You guys, early on, were talking about moving the Raza base of operations. I believe that was with a little bit of frustration about how tightly clustered Zenthra is. But I haven't felt like you've had those complaints since we started play and you guys gained a little bit more logistics. Is that still something you want to do?
In 1 sec. So where are we located right now? Let me open up the map again.
You are 0702.
Zenthra. I think we could relocate.
Viable alternative is 0405 at March.
That's literally what I was thinking, yeah.
And if you still want to do that, then I'll retcon a little bit of the narrative I just did because, there'd be no reason to be building bigger buildings to accommodate larger operations on Kamiego if you still want to move. I will say that Kamiego affords you basically the luxury of sovereignty. There's no actual government here telling you what you can and can't do.
Yeah, that's. I realize it's not the most ideal location, like central to the sector, but I do like it thematically.
Mm-hmm.
Central to the sector isn't my biggest concern. Having to go through Union and Trin sectors in order to get out is.
Well, Trend don't really have a sector per se. What was in
Well,
The
let me rephrase
Johnny
that.
Vergil?
The I mean, and this is gonna depend a little bit on the conversation about the support systems.
true.
But as it is, anytime we want to project support out of Zenthra, we have to cross Union. We have to cross that 5 or 3 space, which immediately saps the range of our ability to support operations.
Which is why we maybe. What I'm trying to remember. What was Johnny Vergil again? Let's see. Trinidad Shade. That's the okay. So that's the one that perimeter patrols,
Yeah, and it's actually
which makes
perimeter
sense why it's higher.
that's giving Raza pause. There haven't been any overt actions, but Raza is taking some extra precautionary measures, which result in that just kind of adding a little bit of cost to any operations past that point.
So we just need to wipe out perimeter.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. So
Uh,
I don't know if this is the right time for this question, Dex, but I'm going to ask it now anyways. And if you say we'll come to it later, then that's fine. But along with the whole support system, I don't necessarily mind it, although we haven't had a whole lot of reason to engage with it so far.
hmm
But if there could be a little bit more clarity in the mechanism for, like, what we did in Un, we turned a blue system green.
hmm
If we could know a little bit more about what goes into making a system more hostile to us in the logistical sense,
Sure.
so that we could roleplay doing things about it,
Yeah.
that would
I
help
absolutely don't
alleviate
mind.
my concerns, about this, because then we would at least have an idea of what we might be able to do
So
to improve the logistics through there.
the default is going to be blue everywhere. Um, about 2 logistic points is default for crossing through any area of space, and that's just taking into consideration risk of pirates, um, risk of searches and seizures, um, special costs that are nobody's fault but just belong to the system. I can't think of any of those off the top of my head, but um, and then risk of hostilities. Uh, that massive orange up in the top left is mostly orange because a lot of that stuff up there is either Mercure owned and like private research facility or unknown. Bird is unknown. Iolos is, well, that's Egeo and Cabal, which the only reason that one's orange is because it's sandwiched between Bird and the Tolance Mercure facility. So these colors are definitely an abstraction of a whole number of factors influencing logistical decisions. What extra steps do we need to take to ensure our trade gets to from here to point B, or just from point B to point C through that area? Does that help?
I would say, like, if your role playing is essentially either reducing the influence of whatever entity is there that makes it more difficult to move goods through it,
Yeah, and let's
or becoming more friendly with them.
actually use the unshift as an example. Um, as you'll perhaps hear in this next news broadcast, a good impression was made by Raza in Oh, actually, no, I already told you that.
Yeah, but that's why it's because we became more friendly with the Un,
Yeah.
or with the bro.
Um, at this point, if Galactic Mandate were to challenge any of your ships flying through un-XXV space, then Un would perhaps step in and be like, no, 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 we own this system. You have no jurisdiction here. They're cleared by us. Step off. That's why it went from blue to green, is because the bro are just more supportive of Raza operations.
And willing to intervene on our behalf.
And that's also why there's that big swath of green from March all the way to UIS. March, because of Zoe and Cassian. And then UIS was one of those I didn't think to take a picture before I changed it, but I'm pretty sure those were blue before when we started.
Okay.
You know what? They may have been. So yeah, just pretty much anything you can think of that would, make people friendly to us or reduce their presence. Like Perimeter, I'm not really sure if we can make friends with them. Does Perimeter have any influence outside of? Surely they have. They don't exist just in Punjabi Varul, right?
They don't exist just in Punjabi Varul. They exist in myth and legend and terror among people who think that Maltech is cool. And they occasionally show up to reinforce that myth, legend, and terror when people truck in Maltech.
Well, I mean, Maltech is cool.
It is pretty cool. But maybe we should keep that to ourselves for now.
Perimeter doesn't think so, and they have very scary weapons to enforce their opinion over others. Many of those weapons might be Maltech themselves.
Yeah, they are nothing if not hypocrites.
No,
They
so
do,
they're just matching the same energy that they'll be going up against.
It is known to the Raza that they make use, I think, knowingly of sentient androids. Right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Libra has confirmed that for you, that Perimeter knows that they're sentient, and they still use them as they use them as very effective non-sentient android leaders in operations that could still get them destroyed, just as any non-sentient android.
Yeah, because presumably the sentient androids are more effective.
Yes. Yeah, by leaps and bounds.
But they are also still bound by the same rules that govern regular androids insofar as control
Mm-hmm.
of being under their own. Or they can't necessarily just straight up refuse orders.
Right. Hence, Libra sabotaging her internal communications chip.
Yep.
Now, that won't help if she encounters a perimeter agent that identifies himself as such in a way that she internally recognizes, but it does help against her receiving transmitted orders.
Yeah.
We got a little bit off track there.
Yeah.
Tulare?
Well, it's kind of on track. Trying to figure out how to actually impact Perimeter.
True.
In one way or another.
I will say, one of the other benefits of this location, I'm not trying to sell you on it, just to say, is that you're 14, I believe, logistic points away from Onalau, which could also be a relevant location in this campaign. Yes, 14. And without your actual presence in Zenthor system, it would probably be orange or red from the pirates.
I don't know what Onalao. I mean, I can see it there, obviously, but I'm not. I don't understand what it is.
It is the only system that the Raza in the previous campaign found. Actually, I'll just put it in terms of this campaign. It's the only system Raza knows about that has been completely subsumed by Infraworld. So it's relevant for study, if nothing else.
Okay, all right.
That's actually where Riley and a bunch of the people at Dry Sun came from. They were basically rescued from.
Basically apocalypse survivors
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. All right.
from there.
Does that clarify the mapping scheme a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and what that tells me is that either by roleplay or perhaps even by spending some of our resources, we could identify those factors that influence the color of a sector, and then choose to do something about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Apart from the mission that we're on, like if we happen to be in the area.
Exactly as you did in Un. That wasn't at all part of your mission, but you guys stopped and you interacted, and it was good, and
And it was good.
We'll just stop there.
I mean, the only thing I would note, and I've mentioned this to you before, then, and it maybe won't be quite so onerous with the long missions, is that as we rushed to the end of the fourth session last time,
Uh huh.
that made the stop in Un seem somewhat less well advised. I mean, even though we got a lot out of it, if we had failed the mission within the allotted time, that would have been bad.
Yeah, I think that's something that like I know that none of my returning players are used to having time limits.
What are you saying? Are we saying we're slow?
Sometimes.
How dare you?
I think that's something that that you'll find you naturally adjust to as we go along, and I mean, I think I've shown you my template for the missions. I do have a section for stalls, where if I feel like you're moving too fast, I can throw something at you. I had a very interesting stall, I thought, for the fighting mission.
Simple.
That I couldn't justify using because it wasn't necessary. But you're right. The time limit is a concern, and I don't know if it's interesting to you, but at least at the time, it's interesting to me to see you guys balance it.
He wants to see us dance.
I do.
Wait, I have a question.
Mhm.
Support points, can we spend them on NPC missions to try and help them succeed?
Yes, you did that with their mission to
Yeah.
deliver the Halcyon disturbance thing.
I didn't know if there was a limit or what kind of support you can give.
At the time, I did not limit it. I just let you spend whatever points you had toward their success. And based the cost on the area that they were in. So that's, if we change up the framework on that, that's something that we'll revisit. I want you to be able to spend some resources to help the NPCs succeed. Otherwise, it may just end up feeling like they've got like you're sending them into a blender in some places, just to delay things that are happening there. Let me circle back around. Given this new understanding, do you want to move the Raza base?
See, I like it where it is because I know it's there for a reason.
Yeah, I just like Zenthra.
I like it where it is then.
Okay. All right. Do you? We can broach that last housekeeping item I had now if you want. Actually, no. I'm gonna let me back up on that. I do want to wait until Nox is here. So if you don't mind, we can hold off on that. I
No
don't
worries.
think it'll
Ow.
affect anything you're role playing now, or the decisions that you make now. We do need to talk about it before you officially choose mission and NPCs on mission. Okay.
Okay.
So, jumping back into the scene, the building is as depicted. It is has been built for a much larger capacity than you currently need. Roz is clearly stepping up or thinking ahead for size of military and other operations here. And a large galley is one of them. You can hear yourself echo as you walk past the tables. Ivan shouts through the little open window between the kitchen and the galley. Is almost finished, but not find one single recipe. Many recipes.
Right. Okay.
I mean, all of them did have one thing in common, though, right? The preparation of the venom.
Oh, some some prepare with root of root called car root. Not do not like that root. Some prepare with clay. Do not like clay. Yeah, stops stirring and looks over at Oogie.
Yeah, the clay makes it stick to your ribs though.
It is venom, not supposed to stick to ribs. Call me a go wrong.
Oogie's eyes are wide, but he's not going to offend. You said it was Ivan cooking?
Yeah.
He's not going to offend Ivan, but he's going to try to mitigate the damage. Well, I mean, that root that you don't like, maybe we could serve it shredded on the side, like a little adder.
Or a garnish.
Oogie does not know if it'll work to add it afterwards, but he's going to do it anyways just to be on the safe side.
But is that like kind of it neutralizes the poison? That's why it's added to the meal.
It's venom. It's fine.
But venom. Sorry, venom.
Just go to the doctor. Make sure you don't have any ulcers first. Most people don't have an ulcer at any given moment, but
Yeah, it's probably fine. And those who do have an ulcer, hey, now at least you know they had an ulcer when you're burying them.
I mean, surely we could treat it. Maybe.
Ivan waves a hand and goes back to stirring. It's okay. Found recipe is good.
Well,
and he says no
Oogie,
more.
you want to take first dibs on this? Let us know how it is.
I sure will. Oogie slightly trepidatiously approaches the chili pot. Let me know when it's ready, Ivan. I'll take the first bowl.
He leaves you waiting in anticipation for about 5 or 10 more minutes as he brings it to a heat that he says is perfect, with careful administrations in stirring and a sprinkle of salt every now and then. As things start bubbling, he sprinkles a little bit of salt over the bubbles and stirs that back in. Finally, he nods to himself and brings down the heat, stirs the pot around a little bit by the handle, and then sets it on a stone cutting board, sitting board, something that you set hot pans on. To let it cool.
A trivet.
A what?
A trivet.
A trivet. Okay, thank you. Sets it on a stone trivet, or a stone inheritance trivet. Nope. Okay. And pulls a few bowls out from behind and starts scooping some chili in. You can see the rattlesnake meat, and you can see little bands of familiar oil. It's not the venom, but he has used the oils of some of the local roots here that have a distinctive quality of kind of filamenting. They're easy enough to eat. They're easy enough to break apart from themselves, but if just given no attention, not stirred or shaken or anything, they will kind of cluster themselves like the filaments of a universe map. They're oily, so they stand out. And you see that after he's gooped the chili into a bowl, those filaments are all shattered, but they start creating that network throughout your chili. It's almost like a rattlesnake is the spirit of a rattlesnake is in that bowl and wriggling.
Oogie points out the filaments with his spoon and says, "Well, dang me, Ivan, you got that part right for sure."
Yeah, looked right to me.
It's interesting property. Did not believe it when I saw the recipe, but give it a try.
At this point, impressed by the swirling of the oils, Oogie has forgotten about the possibility that the venom has not been prepared properly and just digs in.
That's fine. I keep telling you, the venom ain't gonna hurt you unless you got an ulcer.
Does Oogie have an ulcer?
Roll for ulcer.
After worrying so much about the venom, he may have given himself one. The circle of life is complete. I will, of course, let you decide if it is good. Ivan has hit the main points of Kamiyago cooking, but since there is no real internet support or sharing, these recipes are mostly handed down by, there's some written recipe books if you can find them, but they're mostly passed down word of mouth. And he has made it a little bit spicier than most of the recipes call for. But that's something to be expected from Ivan. He makes everything spicy.
My man.
Let's have Ivan make a check.
All right, we can do that. Let me.
Difficulty.
Oh.
Yeah. You asked me if Ivan had done something correctly. We're gonna let the dice decide.
Sounds good to me.
Difficulty 8 to make great chili. Difficulty 6 to make it decent.
Right.
Difficulty 12 to make Oogie fall to his tears, weeping, begging for forgiveness, forever doubting him.
Grandma,
Yeah,
is that
okay with
you?
that.
Grandma's secret recipe. You found it.
Oh.
So close.
Make
Baba,
chili
look at
great again.
10.
I like it. As Oogie eats, his eyes widen, and the pace of his eating quickens. If you've seen that scene at the end of Ratatouille, where the critic starts digging into the food, that's what Oogie looks like. Ivan, you have outdone yourself. This is one of the finest bowls of chili I have ever eaten.
I was expecting to say something like, "Oh wow, it actually tastes good."
Oh, y'all dig in. Ivan has successfully captured the essence of Camiego cuisine.
Max is just gonna like squint to try and like, is he serious? Is he fucking with us? He'll just kind of like get a little spoonful and eat it. Oh, you're not lying. I thought you was fucking with us. This is actually nice. Very nice, very nice.
Ivan nods along, proud of himself, enjoying your enjoyment of his meal.
So is
And
it usually this good, or is this just like an exception?
all my cooking is good.
Good.
I'd reckon it's better than usual.
Yes, I praise. Thank you. At this point, there's others.
Archibald's reference being eating it out in the wilds.
Sure. there's
He's
others.
He's not a picky eater.
Makes sense. There's others coming in to eat now, and the galley is starting to get a bit loud with chatter, and then the echo of that chatter. Could use some acoustic attention in this building.
I'd agree with that.
We'll bring it
Come on,
up.
got any songs you want to put on?
Mission complete treat. You've just returned. You lot choose music. And he does put on music of you guys' choosing, if any suggestions are made. Pipes it through the speakers intended to serve as announcements, but also given enough attention to work as just entertainment.
Yeah, are there any like really good, kids shows that you remember when you was younger, Oogie, that might accompany this chili?
Do we remember kids shows at all?
Your characters don't remember them, but
I'm sure we can pull a jingle from our heads. Like, wait, what the hell's that from?
I was gonna. There certainly would be scattershot attempts. Like Camiego has tried to create art, and some of it has been incredibly good with the regressed technology that they have. The biggest hindrance has been keeping any one good thing going. You might get a well-animated cartoon, Rattlesnake and Hedgehog, that people enjoy, and it's not just kids.
Oh, I love Rattlesnake and Hedgehog.
Exactly, it's everyone likes it because it's entertainment content on a planet that doesn't have the infrastructure for it. But it only goes for 8 episodes before that infrastructure in that city had to move on. The water had dried up.
Somebody has mentioned Rattlesnake and Hedgehog, and you can see tears come to Oogie's eyes. I've seen all 8 episodes 20 times.
Rattlesnake and Hedgehog.
And there's a screen in the galley. It comes down and
We say as we just finished eating rattlesnake.
It's kind of a Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote kind of show, except the rattlesnake
Very versatile.
is the coyote. And the slow hedgehog. Well, what's the slow hedgehog characterized as?
I mean, I would assume something like Mr. Magoo-esque, right?
Mr. What?
Mr. Magoo-esque.
Mr. Magoo!
It's like, because, if it's going to be slow, it's like the Roadrunner is always just like too fast to be caught, right?
Uh-huh.
But the Hedgehog is just always lucky, right?
Okay.
Hold on, you all need to see this though. I'm gonna pop this into the discussion channel.
Have you ever seen Mr. Magoo?
I have not actually. I'll have to
Oh,
watch
okay.
it after the stream.
It's kind of it's basically that whole premise where like he's just basically fumbling through everything, and everything just works out for him while he's like causing whatever chaos like happens all around him. He's just completely oblivious.
Okay. Maybe then maybe I was too quick to call the rattlesnake coyote. Is rattlesnake more like Roadrunner or coyote in this?
I feel like a rattlesnake would definitely be positioned as the villain.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and the show quite awkwardly for today's sensibilities usually ends with rattlesnake getting eaten.
Look, it doesn't have to have continuity. It's a cartoon.
I love it.
It informs the cultural atmosphere.
You know, as Oogie is eating his second bowl of chili and watching Roadrunner, Rattlesnake and Hedgehog cartoons up on the screen, he goes, "You know who'd like this? I bet the Un would like this."
It's all physical comedy, and they absolutely would.
Oogie's gonna see about exporting copies of Rattlesnake and Hedgehog to Un.
Okay. Put that on your character sheet as an item. No encumbrance.
I will indeed.
Rattlesnake and Hedgehog cartoons. I mean, there's not. I mean, I don't think we're gonna make a big thing out of exporting Kamiagan culture, given how limited it is. But who knows? Watch, if this campaign runs long enough, we'll have the whole sector flooded with
now
brand new
you
Kamiagan. It's gonna become a cultural center.
You say limited, I say limited edition.
Still limited though, ain't it?
That makes it rarefied, and that means we can sell it at a premium.
Well, while you're having this discussion, the cartoon has just ended, and let's see. Hang on. Let me pull up my NPC screen here. Oops, I'm leaving you guys there. Actually, do you guys want to move to the base?
I don't want to move the base. I like Zinthra.
Oh no, I mean, do you want to move to the base screen so you can see all the faces and stuff?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
Not really too much to do on this screen, anyways.
Yeah, not really. Okay. I think Saul Elazad would fall most cleanly into this role. Saul has been acting as kind of an announcer, a DJ. He's basically been the voice after people started coming in, and there's a lot more than just your NPC crew that you're familiar with in this hall. There's a lot of new faces that you don't recognize, and you guys are in the middle of this conversation about exporting Kamiego culture, and Saul taps the microphone, says, and now we have a special report for our returning crew who exceeded all expectations. This came in just earlier today. We've withheld it from your compadres. Wanted you to see it here first. And at this point, almost the entire Raza staff, except for those people that are working late in labs or doing whatever, have come around for dinner time. So you've got everyone here watching this. I'm gonna pause the music for a second. I should probably check and make sure that you can hear it again, just because I did move you to a different map. So
The following broadcast.
All good? All right. And this starts playing.
The delegation from the United Imperial Shogunate left Directory Station as crisply as they arrived, boots marching in step, and faces set in stone. These were not merely warriors, Galactic Mandate investigator Jax Jordan commented tensely after an untimely floor exhibition delayed his audit of the Shogunate ship. That's Kitamura Ryoko, Tajima Shiro's right hand, every bit as dangerous as the Emperor himself. And because of that display, their business has been fast-tracked. This is bad for the sector, mark my words. Consider your words marked, investigator. But not as impactfully as these highlights. Youch. That looked like it hurt. This is Clementine, reporting for ABNN, and rooting for our brave unknown challenger. Go on and get your hat back, cowboy.
Oh, it's wonderful. Thank you.
Uki has a fan. And there are highlights of that fight being played. Most of them are centering on Ugi's valiant efforts. But yeah, it does cut back to that powerful blow that he took. And the whole galley. Oh! Ugi receives a lot of attention that night.
And that reminds me, sometime while we're here on Kamiego, Oogie's got to go buy a new hat.
You're not gonna get your original back?
Well, I mean, eventually, but something's got to keep my head covered until I can get back out to, what was it? Not the Shogunate, to, what's the name of the place?
Shinobu actually is where ultimately what came from.
I got to keep my head covered until I can get out to Shinobu.
Wait, did your hat end up with with that delegation?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yeah,
Right.
Shinobin warrior, when he defeated the bro, claimed as his prize Ugi's hat.
Okay, I'd forgotten about that detail. How fun. So that hat's not going to be seen again.
No, because he invited me out to Shinobu to get it back.
Uh-huh. He did.
We ain't got time for that.
He basically intimated that he wanted to fight Ugi again, and that this hat would be that prize. So, in addition to this galley, there's other construction all around Drysen, of course. You know, having access to modern materials and modern building supplies, even if it's along the quality of Instapanel initially, and also being able to construct permanent structures that you're not going to just take down in anywhere from 2 to 10 years, has proven amazing for the growth of the city. There's irrigation, there's plumbing, there's all these things that Kamiegans haven't had before, or at least not reliably. And you're also getting some immigrants from other cities. With this increased popularity comes a little bit more danger, and so there are also towers. There's no walls being built just yet because walls are things that would just need to be taken down if the city continues expanding at the same as it has been. But towers and advanced weaponry have been enough to deter or defeat any kind of raids so far. One of the new buildings that's being built is particularly out of place. It's an arcade.
Is it an arcade or is it a V arcade?
Well, it's
It's
both.
probably got it's probably got at least a VR set up
Yes.
somewhere.
Yeah, and we're not talking pinball. This is more like a arcade is probably the wrong word for it. This is really more of a place, like the kind of building that would be built for professional MOBA players to sit and train.
It's like a internet cafe.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that's probably more apt. Um, are any of your characters interested in exploring what the heck is going on there?
Archibald definitely is not.
Didn't think he'd be. Yeah.
Archibald does not like Nemesis at all. At least in that regard.
Marcus, Oogie?
Definitely tempted.
Not Oogie. Somebody else have some screen time.
Okay. I misspoke when I said not pinball. There are like just standard pinball and Galaga like games at the arcade. It also has its own small little food kitchen, but most of the refrigerator space there is filled with gamer drinks, energy drinks, Red Bull, and Mountain Dew. No Cheetos though.
Well, I think Marcus is going to go investigate thoroughly.
Okay.
Make sure everything's above board.
As he comes in, he sees he sees a lot of teenagers. They look over at him and kind of gossip and chatter amongst themselves while clearly looking at him. There's others that whose attention is not quite as easily swayed, eyes glued to the screen, playing some kind of space game. Marcus may have heard of it before. Delta Rain.
Surely you've heard of it.
It is the premier space adventure MMO.
Nah, never heard of it.
Wow,
Want my style.
Weird. Nemesis just decided that Marcus is fired.
And it's not just teenagers here. There's kids, from my perspective, of between 15, 16, up to early mid 20s, and they're not Kamiegans.
Is that a bad thought? I could so cheat if I challenged one of these kids. Marcus is feeling. He gets this bright idea in his head, and so do I. He's going to look for some fighter games.
Okay.
He's going to try and find a kid who's heavily into the fighter games.
Yeah, there's a couple of fighter game stations arranged against the wall. These look like they're more for entertainment, and now that Marcus has been, kind of wandering through the building, the computer setups and the VR setups, they really do look more like training or workstations, though very comfortable. Those seats look amazing. Whereas,
is there a worker here?
yeah, there's some staffers that look like they're just kind of idling about, maintenance workers and such.
Excuse me, specifically the maintenance people.
Mm-hmm.
Can I borrow you for a sec?
Oh, sure.
Those chairs over there, where do you get them?
Have you sat in one? You'll never want to get up.
That's the point. I want to get one.
Can't do. Those are
What do you
special
mean?
ordered.
Come on.
Sorry, those. I tried to get one for my own studio here. Those are special ordered for all these for kids.
So you're telling me you don't maybe have one in the back that's spare, or maybe one that's a little bit damaged that the kid spilt some shit on or ripped it with, and you know are in the process of sending it back, that maybe I could help with?
Why don't you roll me a charisma talk check? Oh! I didn't know you could roll that high. All right. Yeah. Okay. Those are the skill points that you just spent. I see that.
No, actually.
Oh, they're not.
No, my skill points went purely into TK.
I misread then. All right. Yeah. This maintenance guy has perhaps heard a little bit about Marcus and offers to lose inventory of one of these chairs if Marcus maybe has a dime bag or equivalent on him.
One sec. I used up some of this, so I'm going to knock off 150 creds worth, so I only have 100 on me.
He's actually only looking for about 10 creds worth.
Oh, absolutely. Can I have 10 creds worth? Done. I was saying I used 150 on that whole escapade in the previous mission.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, say less, man. You're really doing me a favor here. This won't get you in any trouble, right?
There are so many things coming and going that you know some of them have already been sent back damaged and lost in transit. I don't think anyone will notice.
Oh, sweet. I like you, man. I like you.
But
Yeah.
just for keep it on down low if you would.
Absolutely. Look, you just tell me the time when I need to come round the back. I'll make sure to come pick it up.
Oh, where are you putting it? By the way, I don't want you get in trouble too. Marcus can tell he's more concerned about it getting back to him, not Marcus getting in trouble.
Look, this is gonna go away on a ship that I'm gonna use to sit in and relax. Nobody's gonna see this.
Okay. And he sets up a drop off for Marcus. Drop off time and location. Tells him, it's kind of late at night as he's closing up the arcade. And just asks him to make sure that it's not seen by anyone.
Yep, Max will just gently lift it into the back. Actually, Max will pay whatever credits it costs to buy a van and just lift it into the back of it.
Yeah, no, you don't even have to buy a van here. You guys are elevated employees that can just use vehicles without a whole lot of oversight. There's still a lot of chaos from all of the building that Raza is doing.
Okay, so it's just like, I'll just borrow the work van for like maybe an hour or two and then just hand it back.
Okay.
Sign the little book if you're being proper about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, send them a little thing. Yep, there you go, run it out. Yeah, Max is going to take this back to the ship. And this is what he's going to spend his money on next, is upgrading this seat.
How is he upgrading it?
Hey, look. You got to be smart about this. Imagine you're in VR, right? And you've got a drip going in. Or have you seen the Spiderhead film on Netflix?
I have not.
well, if you watch it over the next week, that's what Max is going to be aiming for.
Okay.
Portions of that he's going to be aiming for, but yeah. He's buying this. It's a relaxing seat. It's in between missions. If I want to relax or recover, this is the seat.
All
He's
right.
willing to rent it out. Yeah, otherwise he's just gonna. In the meantime, while doing that, he was just gonna play fighting games against kids, and every now and again annoy him by using his TK to push the buttons.
Oh, it's so low.
Yeah. That's the idea I was having. It's just having a game against one and just using TK to push the buttons.
You cause him to push the heavy attack at an inopportune time, right
Yeah,
when
exactly.
you're there to counter and pull him into a chain grab.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, I guess I need to. I don't know. Fix these up. I mean, give it a good clean. I don't know. Are you sure you didn't press it?
Oogie, how did you spend your afternoon? I watched cartoons from my childhood. Marcus, how did you spend your afternoon? I
Beating
hustled.
kids.
I hustled children down at the local arcade.
Oh no, I'm not playing for money. He's just played it for laughs. Just pure entertainment. Yeah, no, that's what Max is doing. Get himself a nice little chair and just messing with some kids.
Right on.
He's gonna go on a dating website and he's gonna be like, my hobbies include doing drugs and messing with children.
Oof. Let's see. That's right. Oh, let me put it back on the Kamiego music. We don't need that depressing music. Got Kamiego depressing music. Alright, that's the first couple of days of your time back here. Sunny has checked up on Oogie a couple more times just to make sure that whatever force created those wounds, since it wasn't something that they can physically identify, it wasn't being struck by an iron bar, even though it may have felt like it. Just wants to make sure that there's nothing lingering and nothing that actually may have been deposited or broken that didn't come up in scans. And she's using the Dry Sun's much more advanced medical facility, because you know that this command crew has the best medical facility. Even Sunny, while she's
watched over by the sector's most capable medical psychopath.
exactly. And she's in awe at these facilities. You've heard that she was a basically a combat medic with Astos Police, Astos Navy. I can't remember which, but some kind of militarized force, and she's trying not to, but she is showing awe at the machinery and the equipment that has been brought here. But if Fugi goes along with it, she puts him into a chair. It's much more comfortable than the one on a ship, and she runs a body of scans over the course of about an hour.
Oogie will go along with it, but he is gonna question it. Something along the lines of, Sonny, I've been feeling better for a couple days now. Just what exactly is it you're looking for here?
Well, I don't know. Do you know what hit you?
I mean, conceptually, some kind of construct of dark matter and void energy, right?
Uh-huh. Oh. And what is void energy due to internal organs?
Well, I I guess I don't know.
Right, neither do I, and that's why you're here.
All right, all right. So, Oogie sits through the scans, although towards the end of the hour, he's getting fidgety. Even when he's deep in thought, he rarely sits still for an hour. He usually gets up and paces.
She tells him to stop fidgeting numerous times.
So like an hour-long CAT scan is just Oogie is not a happy camper about that.
It is at least different equipment doing the scanning, but he doesn't get to move very far. He has moved from one place to the other only twice during this whole process.
He tries not to fidget because doctor's orders, but he is failing to not fidget.
She even goes so far as to smack his arm once when he's fidgeting. Stop it.
Oogie puts down the little jar of tongue depressors that he was playing with. Yes, ma'am. Then he picks back up the jar of tongue depressors and starts playing with them again.
She takes it out of his hand and moves it out of reach.
Oogie starts humming the theme song to Rattlesnake and Hedgehog.
She's okay with that.
Okay.
Towards the end, she comments that she heard that Commander Rao has actually used this same overall facility, not this specific room, to create some kind of vocal apparatus for that thing we brought back. And then she unstraps him from the bed. He wasn't like strapped down, but she, unhooks him from everything. And okay, you're good.
Oogie practically springs off of the bed and flexes and kind of stretches his arms and legs. You mean that thing they're calling the soul zombie?
Stupid name, but yes.
Oogie shrugs. What would you call it?
Corpse.
I mean, you just said that Dr. Rao gave it vocalization capability, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oogie kind of points a finger at her and goes, "You ever heard a corpse that could talk?"
She starts going into some grotesque detail, making some abstract connection about how the body talks all kinds of languages as it starts decomposing.
Oogie becomes mildly shaken and realizes that he has tread on somebody else's expertise and is now getting his comeuppance.
She trails off, says, "Go on, get out of here."
Oogie bolts. I have an out of character question, by the way. Just something that I noticed earlier. Does Nox, the player person, have any connection to the Nox, some faction or entity that existed in this game world?
They do not.
Okay.
Purely coincidence.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a common enough sort of attribution that I can see that happening.
Yeah. If I recall my inspiration for the Nox, actually I shouldn't recall. I could just look it up. Basically, but something about night, right?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some in-universe lore about Nox Omnia, and the Nox itself as a shipyard has a, and the people that lived on it have a very tragic arc, especially in this campaign where I rolled a random event that made it even more tragic for them. I mean, it was tragic before we got to me rolling random events.
Unfortunate for them.
Unfortunate. Um, So, I do apologize. I did go straight back over to Tulair, brought him back into the spotlight. It was just because Oogie has had that injury, and it was a way for me to bring up to you guys that the entity that you brought back, the corpse, uh, can now be questioned.
I could question it before, but it wasn't wiggling right.
It wasn't wiggling right. It has now been given, in quote marks, vocal capability. And has become more cooperative. And that is something you can do if you want to.
Oh, I should. But will I?
Well, we are almost at the break, so what I would suggest is I've got one more news broadcast. I kind of went around things backwards. You should have heard this news broadcast before you saw the slate of missions, but I wanted you to have the opportunity to read the slate of missions before, we started the game today. So I accepted that it was going to be out of order.
Acceptable losses.
Yeah, exactly. And then let's take the break. After the break, we'll go into a little bit that final housekeeping point about the war framework, and get you settled into your mission and any NPCs that you send on a mission. Okay? And of course, get to any scenes that any of you want to do. Stop in the Kamiega music. It hasn't been long enough, so I'm not going to redo the test track.
I would also at some point like to discuss. We had talked about purchasing modded or custom items.
Mhm.
I'll need some help pricing out the cost of what I had asked for.
Oh, I had actually created a thread for that.
But
I
is it
missed
still there?
Well, it's always going to be accessible. It's just not immediately visible. So if you go to discussion and near the top where it says OOC for discussion of the game, there's this hashtag with a little conversation bubble. Oops. Sorry,
Discussion or planning?
Planning. Nope, you're right.
Amaya's tech review?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll look through that then. I didn't realize that was there.
Gotcha. Yeah, threads. I've tried in the past tagging everyone that I wanted in the thread, but all that does is let them know that there's a thread there. In order for you to see any new entries, for it to like pop up as a ping, you actually have to type into the thread. Otherwise, it just sits there, kind of invisible. So, making do with what I've got.
Oh, yeah. I contributed to that, but I spent all my money on heavy machine.
Yep. Seems like a good, purchase too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to figure out what I want to get. Just one of them, like, I've got my own armor and weapons.
Yeah. When Nox is here, you'll have I think an easier time discussing mods. Like obviously you can just buy what you want that's not already available in Ship Locker or Ship Armory. It's mostly mods that I think you'll end up spending your initial funds on, and
I think it'll just mainly be cyberware for me.
yeah, okay, that's certainly available to you.
Where's Jai at on his BioWare stuff? I don't think we ever quite followed through on that, did we?
I don't think we did. Is that?
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead,
isn't
Ben.
there a planet that's like really into like body mods? I forget.
Yeah, that's the Trin planet. The Trin are really into cyberware. And you have a small population of them here in Dry Sun, so there is a lot of expertise for cyberware floating around here. We'll get to your shopping a little bit later. Let me go ahead and play this for you.
The risk of sex has gone down in Tolance. The patrol boat class ship, which has been identified engaging in acts of piracy, fired on Mercure Corp ships after ignoring multiple warnings they were trespassing in private space. In a statement to Galactic Mandate which was later made public in the interest of transparency, Mercure Corp threatened to report their trespass to Galactic Mandate, at which time Risk of Sex opened fire. In a harrowing exchange, the Mercure Corp ship retreated, but landed shots intended only to cover their flight. The crew of Mercure Corp ship, name undisclosed, are on paid leave for therapy and recovery. Our people are not hardened soldiers, said Pascal Clare, executive supervisor at the Ark. We'd like to respect their privacy as they heal from the traumatic realization that lives have been lost. For ABNN, this is Clementine.
And that is the basically randomized event that gave rise to that mission option for you. So, why don't we take our mid-afternoon break? Come on back at about 1:10, and we'll give this whole war support framework thing a little bit of a jiggle.
Commence the jiggling, y'all.
No, wait 15 minutes and then jiggle.
The jiggling. I want to commence the jiggling right now.
All right. And so, I believe I said we'd come back and talk about the whole war support framework thing. I thought I wanted to talk about this on at the end in review and not during the session proper, but this actually feels like it could impact some of the decisions that you make, so it seems more appropriate to have it now instead. What I want to talk about is that you guys didn't engage with the spendable part of the system through 2 missions. I kind of wanted to get an idea from you. I'm not saying that as a judgment or like you didn't use my systems. Just stated as a fact and an inquiry into why did you just not think about it? Did you not want to? What was going through?
I think just more a case of forgetting on my part.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an out of the way resource. Like, say we wanted to like use it, it would just be kind of, is there a way that we can leverage our resources? You know, the Raza resources for this, as opposed to looking like an immediate actionable thing. And that probably made no sense, but, you know.
It's a meta currency that seems detached from the fiction.
Yeah,
and that makes it
that
hard
makes a lot
to
more sense.
makes it hard to narrate what exactly we do with it if we choose to use it.
Okay. Is that the only problem? Because that's something that I had envisioned we would work out how it fits into the fiction upon you deciding that you didn't want to deal with a certain challenge.
So to me at least, that's a mechanics first approach that never even occurred to me.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that and like what you said earlier, that's not a judgment or anything.
Mhm.
That's just not the way that I usually think about how things go down in an RPG.
Right. So the reason that I tacked on the spendable currency is that I felt like the like stats of it didn't really feel like they had a whole lot of weight. Um, I've seen now after being able to write 2 mission reports that I can actually fictionalize those without just putting numbers that don't have any real connection to anything. Um, and so I no longer feel like I need to have a spendable currency. If it's not engaging, if it's something that like it's a potion that you forget about, or if it feels like it doesn't uh, improve enjoyment as much, then I can refigure this to just be the static stats. I think I could even do more with them without the spendable currency part. Feedback? Thoughts?
Thinking about it. I mean, I would say it's probably because I don't. I'm really bad at remembering to use resource like that anyways myself.
That's why I bring it.
I know that's
I position it
notorious.
as like it's a potion.
It's
How
not
many?
exactly like potions, but there's also the fact like you're not, because unless you told us up. Wait, I don't know. I think it's too much at that point. But I think you're telling us what a mission gets us to, but that is a separate issue or another problem.
Mhm.
Because I don't think we really need another element like that to decide on missions.
No, not really. I like the direction that you guys have kind of coached and guided me. Like initially, I was gonna give you all those details of this mission is +4 assets and all that. And through discussing it with you, I fell back from that, and I prefer it better this way. So, would anybody feel like they were losing out if we just removed the spendable part of it?
Hard to say because we've engaged with it so little
Okay.
that it's hard to really quantify the benefits of what we have right now.
Maybe we try spending some on this next mission and see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like that. And not just try spending some, but try the exercise of describing what the resources represent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And an example from last session or two that might be useful here is, you'll recall when I used my connected focus, I had that Benny in reserve for being able to make an interaction go my way as a result of having employed my focus.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a miscommunication initially about when I could use it or when you thought I was using it. But then later, when an opportunity came up, you even said, this would be a good chance for you to use that Benny. And that might be something where if we are hemming and hawing about something, or if somebody says something to the effect of, if only we had X, or if only Y were true, if you would chime in and say, "Oh, we can make that true by spending your resources,"
Okay.
because that that would connect it to the fiction. That would give us a clearer understanding of just what it is that the resources actually do for us, as opposed to just like, "Oh, they made a roll go our way."
Okay. I
Yeah.
think that's doable. That's a good suggestion. Anybody opposed?
I mean, I'm down for that. It's just one of them, is because it's not been there before. It's like you just kind of forget.
Yeah,
For me, at
definitely.
least.
Yeah, I was actually thinking on that same front too. Is like I don't know if it'd be efficient, but if there's a way to put it, because yeah, there's different pages. Because really, it is out of sight, mind.
Hmm.
So it's only on this screen here that we actually see it. But I don't know really. There's necessarily. I guess we could do like a little handout in Roll20 to have that information as well. But of course, obviously, those aren't linked.
As in like
I'm just trying to think of somewhere where you can see what all you. I mean, if we do end up keeping it, it'd be nice to have somewhere else to look at it to see what you currently have.
I gotcha. Kind of like how on the current map, I've got it very clearly listed.
Yes.
You've got
Yes,
this.
but it's only on this. It's only on this page. Yeah.
Okay.
And we can't exactly go back to this page. Like we can't
Right.
navigate.
I lost your audio for just a second. After you said we can't navigate.
Yeah, we can't navigate between the pages in Roll20 ourselves. So.
Right. Benefit
there's
to
an
Foundry.
there's an easy solution to this. There are 3 representative currencies here.
And there are 3
and-
icons above every token.
Correct. You could create our resource token that can travel from sheet to sheet and then just have the numbers above it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I could
Good.
see that.
Good suggestion. Okay.
At first, I thought you're saying like just over like all of our tokens. It's like, well, no, that no, a resource token would make sense.
Yeah. I'll try and put that together over the week. If nothing else, I will have a blank circle with numbers over it.
Cool.
That's a good suggestion.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying. Yeah, we haven't really given it a fair shake because I think it is out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you gave us some examples from the past mission about like how we would say something like, "Oh, we don't want to engage with this. Let's use a logistics spend." And then you would have said something like, "Oh, Raza agents already in place," or intelligence gathered prior to the mission. And I guess it was a little confusing to me as to like how do we, aside from the fact, okay, well, we spent the Benny, and then you just kind of make something up to tell us what the
it's
what the mechanism of it was. I mean,
it's basically that thing that I say that I dislike, where it's retroactive continuity based created by spending a resource or spending a token. I don't like that on the character level. I think I've said that a few times.
You have, and that's why I was confused about this.
But I had decided to give it a shot for the more macro level like this, because these resources aren't supposed to be spent to get you a cup of coffee or to unlock the door in front of you. It's more on the a larger scale of, okay, we know that we're going to need some kind of plan or special skills or all this stuff to get into this building. Why don't we just spend this point, and now we've got those resources that are getting us into the building. So it's a combination of I'm making it less character specific, that retroactive continuity, more more fictionalized into the overall story of the Raza trying to spread its influence and exert its control over various things throughout the sector, and just giving that retroactive continuity a chance. Because while I've certainly had it and seen it and done it before, not recently. So my take on it may have changed, and I may just be stuck. I think I may have gotten myself into a circle there and not really answered the question.
No, you answered the question just fine.
Okay.
It is precisely that retroactive continuity stuff, maybe not narrated by the players so much, more by the GM doing the narration. And you are giving it another try despite having expressed reservations of it in the past.
Yeah, and I also do want it to be collaborative. I don't want it to just be like, we want to get into that building, and then me saying, okay, well, here's how it happens. I also want you to be able to contribute, and give some idea, some thought to how that happens. It's not just GM solve this for me. It's going to be GM, we're going to solve this together, and here's how.
Okay.
I will be the final arbiter, so you cannot use grav tanks for every single thing.
Well,
See, the issue with that is you just need more grav tanks.
yeah,
And that's why I'm the final arbiter.
and that's why we're friends with the
We
unknown.
cannot use grab
Brother
things for everything yet.
Alright, so with that, at the end of the last mission, I need to go double check my war support stuff, because I know I spoke about how you recover it, but I can't remember how you recover it. Okay, completing hidden objectives will restore. I didn't actually include that. Completing missions will restore the same amount that mission added to your related stat. So you've got. You should be capped out on assets because you didn't spend any. You should be capped out on support because you'll have gained as much as you received from the mission and didn't spend any. Oh, actually, you did spend some. I must have not marked them down. Oh, I just corrected. I just updated it. Right. Okay. And so we're currently at 14 of 14 support. Center that. Okay. Your spent logistics. The logistics you spent on giving disturbance of the that mission, their extra rolls has not been recovered. That is, your logistics stat is still at 10, your spendable is still at 9. And I think that settles out my bookkeeping. Not bookkeeping, whatever. Table discussion. Let's get back to the interesting parts now. Do you want to talk to the entity? Is that something that you guys actually want to do? Or is that more of a background that you wanted to just have, know if it was possible?
Mostly, I mean, Archibald really wants to know. Is really, well, me. I was really stuck on the difference between the two factions there.
Yeah.
Was it really just were the impatient really? Was it really just that the impatient are just being impatient? Is that simple?
If any conversation with the entity happens, it happens without Amaya. They have a negative interest in that.
Okay.
Max is curious just to see if it gives off any more meta shit, because he's a little bit better at detecting that now.
If it gives off any what?
Psionic meta shite.
Oh, gotcha.
There's a bit better at it.
Is that the scientific term for it?
Yeah. But no, it's one of them. Max is just purely curious. Also, because he, kind of dragged the thing over here, so he might as well show an interest.
Okay. Well, those of you that are interested can have arranged to have discussion with Jairao's assistant. Right now, that is where is she? She is silent. That is Ashanti over here. She has assisted him in numerous of these weird biological things, and now there is a corpse missing half of its neck and its lower jaw and all that that has been gruesomely reconstructed with some muscle biomass. A bit of plastic framework to hold it together.
Archibald does wince at least a little bit.
Yeah, I just kind of like squint a little bit, it's like, ugh.
This one is actually able to speak a bit more than Lure was. It has the ability to force air in and out of its lungs, and actually use the vocal cords that have been partially reconstructed. It still has a very off-putting, false quality to it, like an android using speakers, but fleshy speakers.
Fleshy speakers. I mean, that's what vocal cords are, right?
Exactly, yeah. In 1 second here. Okay. And that's right. Marcus now has Meta 2, doesn't he? Where he's
Yes.
able to detect latent psionics, not just in use.
Yes.
Okay. Having developed that over the course of the trip back and a little bit into these first 5-ish days in Dry Sun, when Marcus comes back to the entity, he can sense it.
Huh.
So you can sense it even without it doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
That could prove useful.
Exactly why I wanted to do this. Also, I've picked up Psychic Static to try and negate it, but I'm not sure if it'll work, which is something I'm going to try later anyway.
Okay. It's Marcus can as he's sensing this, I'm changing music, this pseudo psychic presence. It doesn't feel like any of the psychic schools. It feels oddly disresonant or dissonant, and depending on whether Marcus depending on how you want to characterize it, most would consider it a little bit unsettling.
Okay. And Max is even more freaked out now, having sensed this thing, but now looking at this thing.
Look, that's what you wanted.
It's it's like there's an active disturbance in like space and psychic energy. It's not quite psychic energy, but is tapping into the same kind of channels.
Messing with the meta waves.
very much involving the metaspace. Learn that this entity's name is Kerr, or has referred to itself as Kerr. And
Grr.
at least that's what its vocal capabilities were able to produce. And that Ashanti tells you that it seems to be in a cooperative state right now, but that it has proven to be a bit stubborn when it decides that it's done. So they've
So rapid fire questions.
What's that?
So rapid fire questions time.
I don't know about rapid fire, but this is a moment where you can certainly decide on what questions you want to try and ask it, and then we'll make some rolls to see how cooperative it is. You do get one question for free, and I'll try to give you a good answer instead of it just being all cryptic. This will be questions that you've been able to answer, not by asking directly, although some may have been asked directly, but by over the course of a conversation, piecing together things that it says.
I mean, I suppose we could ask about the patient and inpatient, and what the plans were, why they kept it maintained. But
I don't think did we learn, was the other faction actually called the patient, or was it? I think all we earlier learned was the one faction was called the inpatient, right?
yeah, but you got to think, if one's inpatient, then the other one's got to be patient.
It's too simple. Plus, it just seems weird to name themselves based off what the other faction calls themselves. Well, no, actually, no, that's not that weird. Never mind.
Archibald thinks and says as he's staring at a reconstructed corpse.
Yeah. Anyways, I mean, I guess the name of their faction is not actually that important. I'm just curious what the difference between their faction and the inpatient is. I'm going to make no assumptions as to their faction name.
And I'm curious to what they're why they were delaying, why they were maintaining it rather than, I guess, accelerating it.
Yeah.
I
But I
wonder
feel
if
like
it's
that's kind of covered under the whole inpatient. And
yeah.
I guess if we want to make an assumption, patient faction.
Okay. Is that the basic question that you want to ask?
Yeah, I mean, unless is that?
No, it sounds good to me. I want to know what the difference was and the reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Okay. Through its uncanny valley vocal utterances, it has a bit of conversation with you, from which you can extrapolate, and some of which it directly says that the theocracy is there for a very important task of maintaining a human population in preparation for the black ships.
So, that sounds extraordinarily familiar.
Basically, they wanted some hosts.
And to touch directly on the contrast between the impatient and the not named patient faction. He says that there are certain Vega who are impatient and don't want to wait until the black ships arrive to sink, fight, and actually to sink the entire star system and Vacu into the infraworld.
So what are these black ships? I'm out of loop.
So I wonder if that's just a kind of a repercussion of the way that they created like the death cult, or the cult like theocracy there, and that the more they kind of encourage that, the more the humans encourage them to encourage to trigger it sooner. Am I on something there?
What do you think that their plans may have actually backfired on them? No, come on.
Yeah, I think their plans backfired on them. And that whole host Vega influence.
Let's go ahead and roll a skill check to see if Kerr remains cooperative for another question.
Sure.
What skill check do you think is most relevant to keeping an alien entity cooperative and answering questions, providing information?
Perform. No. Probably not.
Shoot.
No.
Actually, no, you probably won't. That. It's like, please end my suffering.
Well, the problem is, I can't. Are we even able to end their suffering? I mean, that one guy was turned into paste, right? I mean, if that doesn't end their suffering, I don't know what will. I guess energy.
The Raza hasn't been able to conclusively verify that ended its suffering, although the readings is because Zoe took some readings immediately after that happened. The readings that she got suggested that the Vega energy, so to speak, was dispersed along with the fine mist of what once was a human.
Oh, right. That was the middle one on coast. What that Yeah, I guess that one was. Right, that's right. Because Gore was actually still, the body was still at least kind of together.
Yeah.
It was just kind of mangled by the explosions.
Jai has theorized that large portions of the nervous system, brain is helpful, but apparently is not absolutely essential. Just the whole nervous system, nerve complex controlling the human body, essentially, need to be intact.
Okay, or like enough of that needs to be connected.
His experiments where he snips a bit of nerve tissue, basically mean that Gore can't move those muscles that are no longer attached.
Fine.
And there's definitely some sci-fi magic going on because there's a little bit of an extension of the control. The nerves are,
and not to mention the nerves don't provide the energy to move the muscle.
Right.
They basically just tell
they're just instructions
energy that's there. Yeah, they just tell the muscles to use the energy they have to move. So it's obviously bypassing that. But that makes some sense because clearly exhibited some degree of telekinesis. So presumably they're using some degree of that to move muscles that shouldn't be able to move. That's just me spitballing, but it makes sense. Okay. Sorry. We still had to figure out a skill check, huh? I feel like that's you, Marcus. Unless
I'm gonna go on the same
I
vein,
really
which is to try and ease him, to keep him soothed, maybe a little bit drugged, so that way he's talkative. Just keep him happy and pleased. So I'd like to go with heal if possible.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I can see that. Maybe.
I want to make sure he's taken care of.
Good cop.
Okay. for the time being, Kerr is still cooperative.
And
And
now I'm trying to remember what my other question.
sorry.
Well, while you try and think of one, so can you kind of like, what's a black ship? What is that?
All right, you were asking about the black ships.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was pretty much what it was. Because I don't think we've really got anything definitive on that. I've forgotten, so I'm fine with that being a question.
Okay. Tulair, Nox, did either of you want to jump in this as players, not necessarily characters?
As a player. No. Like I said, Amaya doesn't want to be anywhere near this thing.
Mhm.
And has taken the opportunity to work on alternate projects.
Yep, sounds good.
All right. So
I'm content with the line of questioning so far.
cool. So obviously, well, maybe not obviously to you guys. Obviously to me, in asking about the black ships, you hear a common refrain repeated numerous times, peppered throughout the conversation. It is simply, the black ships are coming. And the black ships, when you can induce something other than the black ships are coming response, appear to be relatable to sci-fi hollow media, wherein a mothership, an alien mothership, suddenly appears in the sky above a planet and starts raining down drones. Now, of course, I'm sure this brings question to you guys of what kind of drones, since you guys have been inhabiting us humans. And as a little bonus answer to your question, Kerr reveals that the black ship itself has bioorganic hosts that are that are packed onto the ship, and Kerr goes on about how this will end human civilization as you know it, and make for a better return from the infraworld. It's better to simply yield now and accept your fate.
Yeah.
So there's a mothership coming with biologicals on board already that they're going to utilize for the end times. What the hell did I sign up for?
Well, saving the
I
universe.
thought it was gonna be, I mean, like, I thought it was gonna be like, trying to bring peace, trade routes, all, stuff like. I kind of lied to myself.
I mean, it ain't entirely wrong. We gotta get people all on the same page first.
Or at least I wasn't all
tell
that
you,
honest to myself.
It's like we ain't exactly an army here, and this is gonna take a bit of an army. Or just, I suppose, preventing that from coming at all. But I ain't got no idea how that's going.
As a freebie for you, Kerr is adamant that it has already begun.
Right, but you have incentive to say it's too late.
So once the black ships arrive, what's the plan of action from there then?
For us or them?
For us? I suppose for them. Because that'll mean what we have to do.
Well, I presume hopefully we'd have. Yeah, let's talk away from this.
Yeah,
Probably
you
shouldn't
guys,
plan
you
around
guys
the enemy.
absolutely can have private conversation.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I reckon if we get everyone on the same page about fighting to save the universe, I reckon we do some fighting. I'm not on the technical side. I don't know, like, I'd hope we'd have some special weapons or something, but
Like infra weapons?
I guess they got some like ghost zappers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or at least something.
And I guess, yeah, I don't know about that. I just know that we'll probably be fighting if this shows up, and hopefully we'll have a lot more friends fighting with us if we do our job right.
Hopefully.
I guess if we do our job right, that won't show up, and this is all moot. One
So,
can dream.
so what's the deal with the mothership though? Like, do you know what they're on about with that? Like, obviously it's like home base for them, but like, what's the dealio there? They just use it to like take over a system and then go from there, or what?
Well, look back at that. It's like, guess we'll have to ask.
Okay, okay.
Alright, so if I'm hearing right, the question is basically, what is the plan? What are the steps involved in taking over?
Like the mothership just go system to system, or
Okay. Yeah, let's see if Kerr is still cooperative. Have any other skill you think can be used to continue to coax him or its cooperation?
them.
I guess my charm and wit.
Okay.
Just simply talking to it.
Good old fashioned talk.
Let's see how charming and witty that is. That's pretty good. Okay. So, yeah, Kerr is
So, I mean, it's one thing. 'Cause I'm also curious because obviously these guys all have like a predestination thing of like what they're meant to do.
Yeah, Kerr doesn't seem to mind all that much telling you. It seems more important that Kerr is willing to talk to you at all than it is about what you're talking about. And even asking these specific plans, Kerr will tell you because, as it states, it will happen because it's meant to happen. And so
Yeah, it's all
there's
preordained.
yeah, there's no reason not to tell you, because there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Maybe for it to happen, they have to tell us.
So basically, the black shit comes in with these Kerr's using a human term here, the biosuits, that basically sound like fleshy masses with nerve cells that they can possess and have some kind of weaponry or yeah, they have some kind of bio weaponry or even regular human weaponry. Yeah, I guess Kerr would put it as technology, weapons technology of this universe. And those possessed bioorganic fleshy bodies will come down onto the planet with materials to build condensers, build and run condensers, and bring that system into the infraworld. Once that's done, the black ship moves on to a new system. In all of this, Kerr absolutely expects futile human resistance and marks it as futile because, well, even if that biosuit is destroyed, there's always another human.
Yeah, if I can say the human that kills him and just hops over to him. That would be pretty problematic if we didn't find countermeasures.
So, these condensers. Do we know yet what goes into like creating one? Like,
Fancy pre-tech shit.
okay. So it's either they bring it with them, or they go to places where it's already existing and set them up, or like half and half.
According to Kerr in the last question, when the black ships come, they're going to come with materials to build condensers.
Yeah, okay.
So I have an out of character question, something that you guys might pose because Oogie is not there, and I'm phrasing it cautiously because any question that starts with why to a Vega is going to end up with an answer to the effect of because it must be.
Because it is what it is.
It is what it is. So the question I would like to ask is, how is it that the Vega know what must be when others seem so ignorant of it?
That's how it's always been. So, maybe I shouldn't.
Because it's just how it is, you know.
Dex doesn't need help with ideas.
But how do they know? Where do they gain this knowledge? And if they say that they're born with this knowledge, well, that tells us something too.
Yeah, I am trying not to genie these questions. I know there's a better phrase for that. Monkey's paw? I think
Monkey's
that's it.
paw.
Yeah, I'm trying not to monkey's paw these questions for you and just make you regret asking any particular question. This is the kind of question that I would find nearly impossible not to monkey's paw on you.
Yeah, well, and I think we kind of have that information previously, right?
Yeah, yes.
That was the guy Drew on Ecos, which is why a lot of this stuff sounds like somewhat familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
But of course that was all another different.
So
faction.
I mean, is that from the previous campaign? Is that something you could fill me in on?
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is like the Vega are almost like the natural force that causes the big crunch, essentially. You know, you like the whole Big Bang, Big Crunch theory. Like,
right.
they're
Yeah,
like
we discussed that that's what happens when a sufficient fraction of the real universe gets sucked into the infraverse.
Yeah. So, and they are presumably they're almost like a natural mechanism of that process.
They believe themselves to be the natural mechanism of that process.
Perhaps, yes, but I can't speak to that part. I can only speak to what they believe, or what I understand that they believe.
So, if after reviewing the data, I don't know how to ask this because I don't know if we have the data on it anyway. Like, is there a reason the condensers were in the position they were in, other than the fact it was like the middle of the city and it was a church? Do we have an answer to that?
That's a good question. There is data on that, limited data from the previous campaign. The Raza had found multiple condensers on coasts, in various states of function.
Wait, on coast? You said like beach?
Kos. Kos is a planet in Maribia.
I thought you said coasts. I was like near water. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think it makes all that mist?
Yeah, Coast is in the star system on 0005. It is part of the League of Autonomous Worlds. So let's see. Combining that with data that you guys have recovered, well, why don't we make this a difficulty 8, no bonus roll. It's not a skill roll, it's just a 2d6 against a difficulty 8 to see if the data that you recovered combined with data that Raza already has is sufficient to answer this question. This won't be a question to occur. Let's go ahead and roll that. Does somebody want to roll that 2d6?
I do not have intelligence.
Nope, this is just a flat 2d6 roll. It's not even a skill check.
Oh.
I trust you.
I have no other rolls to do, so sure. 2d6. Yeah. Maybe we should have let an expert do it. I guess it's not really a skill, is it?
No, this was a non-character roll. This was just me randomizing if the data that you brought back is sufficient or if there will need to be more. With I still want you to feel some benefit from that data though, because you did bring back good information and good data. There does seem to be a specific patterning to their placement. It's a theory that's unproven at this point.
Or ley line's a real thing.
That's basically what Marx's question is. Like, are they like, Ooh! Can Marcus make a roll if academy he went to was positioned strategically or not compared to the other academy he knows of? Like, is there a reason it was where it was positioned because of, say, TK, meta, whatever psionic stuff related?
Sure. Being a
I'm expecting it to be a really high DC, but yeah.
But yeah, being a metamind, I think that Marcus would have been tapped into that more than others, and that's the only reason that I'm letting you make this roll. So go ahead and roll meta psionics with wisdom.
Yeah, it's just like a random like, oh wait, is there a reason stuff is positioned where it is? 7. Oh, that sucks.
Unfortunately, that is not enough for Marcus to have really discerned if there was or was not a reason. To the best of his knowledge, the academy on her is positioned where it is because that's where the force fields that keep out the acid rain are.
Yeah. But it's one of them, like, if you're making a place for acid rain, and you're doing...
You had a motorcycle in the background. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, that's why I stopped talking. I realised it's going to be way loud, so yeah, I just stopped talking. But yeah, basically it's like, if you're going to build a place where there's going to be acid rain, you build it there for a reason. Like, but yeah,
came first, the barrier to this academy.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll have to investigate that in my own time.
Okay.
That was just like a random brainwave idea, but Max will probably look into that further.
That is a question that you could ask her if you want to try another check to keep him cooperative. This would be the last question that you were able to ask him, though. Well, whatever your next question is the last question you'll be able to ask.
Okay, so I'll turn around. Do you have any other questions for us? I'm just going to ask about, if there's a reason it was placed where it was, or if there was more to it than that.
I'm still kind of curious what their faction was called.
I can answer that for you without a question.
Oh, okay.
They're just theocracy. They're just a church.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense too.
Yeah, they have a faction name, faction-ish name that is designed for humans, not for them.
Yeah.
In which case, I will ask, is there, I guess, a method to selecting the location of condensers that makes one more favorable than another?
So go ahead and tell me what tools or skills are being employed to kind of keep this increasingly obstinate and tired of your presence entity talking. It's clear that Kerr is had enough of this or is very quickly approaching that point.
I would obscurely. Can I use what do you call it? What do you call it? The pressure? No, not clock powers. Pressure field to kind of like make a nice, I'll say, bubble around it, so it can feel, I guess, like a weighted blanket kind of deal.
Okay. I think that's certainly interesting.
I'm
We'll
still going with like the comfort field, just like,
sure.
like I did the medical part earlier, but now I'm doing more like the weighted blanket, getting tucked in at night. It's the last question, I swear.
Let's do that with a telekinesis and either con or wisdom skill check. All right, that does it. And the answer to this is something that the commanders are going to conclude. Yeah. We kind of we should have thought about that in retrospect. Um, it yes, the condensers are very specifically placed and patterned to try and create infraworld coverage. The seeping in infraworld from the portal. Um, when they become linked up or connect with each other, then they tend to reinforce. Um, Not tend to. They reinforce and create a stronger feedback. And so it's basically juggling the time and resources to build them and to keep them and their function hidden against trying to connect them.
Also, say if the like, so say if they build one in the infraworld and build it in our world, it like boosts it. Am I
No,
understanding that right?
condensers all built in real space. So if they think of it like if they build a like cell towers.
Right.
Cell towers that can magically increase and amplify their output. You wouldn't want to build them too close together, to where they're providing instant, constant coverage because you're wasting resources. You have to build so many more, but you don't want to build them too far apart because then it will take longer for that ever increasing coverage to actually connect people who want to be on the phone.
So I'm making sure they have 5G coverage all over.
And there's also the consideration of they sometimes fail, and so you want to make sure that you've got enough coverage to sync the world, basically.
Got to make sure there's some degree of redundancy. Hooray!
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a lot of actual good information that the commanders watching in have given you some thumbs up for getting Kerr to talk.
On your hand, money, please.
No. They cut off that communication before you could respond.
Aww.
Right?
I don't know.
In which case, I will bid Kerr farewell and thank them for their time.
Kerr appreciates the blanket and is going to nestle for a minute.
It'll last for like the next however
That's-
long.
Like 15 minutes, unless you basically maintain it and keep him around. Stay around him.
You heartlessly take it away early. Monster.
I'll keep it going for as long as needed.
Okay. I don't think that.
I thought it was creepy before, but now he's cuddling with it.
I'm just willing to pick it up with CK and start dancing with it. Do a bit of Black Swan.
It's not better.
Okie dokies.
All
But
right.
it's different.
Well, I feel like I've learned a bit more now. The black ships are mother ships. They have their own biological body host suits.
Meat puppets.
They like to place their pylon. Well, they need to construct additional pylons and then make sure they're all linked up.
Or do they need more overlords?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just waiting to be told they can place force fields as well.
You have seen crew create force fields.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And this can be conversation where you're all gathered up.
I was gonna say, does this information get shared around?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, there you go.
So here's the thing that I want to know is how come the death of the universe needs somebody to bring it about?
Well, it needs somebody to bring it about early, now doesn't it?
Well, I mean, but they say it's inevitable, that this is just part of the natural order of things, as though this is how the universe ends. I mean, it's just puzzling to me why this needs an agent behind it. Doesn't seem at all natural to me.
They could be like farming our universe. Like our universe is like a livestock type of thing.
I mean, yeah, just siphoning out all the good
Ah.
stuff.
Reapers.
I guess.
No, Dex wouldn't borrow from Mass Effect.
Somebody
don't know
just
that?
somebody just needs to tell these Vega, you ain't no force of nature. You're
Yeah, I mean, you try telling, like, what if someone was yelling at you? You're not a
you're an electrical signal with delusions of grandeur.
Correction, they are not electrical signals, otherwise you would be able to detect them.
You're a clump of dark matter with delusions of grandeur.
See, now you're stretching for it.
You make me understand why they call dark matter wimps.
Wait, what?
Wimps. WIMPS. Weakly interacting massive particles.
Oh.
It's true.
I don't think we're here for a roast of the ghost. A ghost roast, if you will.
Well, I wasn't until you called it that. Now I am.
Started saying that without even realizing what else to say. I was like, let's lean into it, baby. Ghost roast. For the ghost with the most.
We've been going about this all wrong. Lasers aren't the right weapons. We gotta convince them that they're pathetic.
So lockers are the right weapons.
Oh.
Now that he's feeling better, Oogie's drinking again.
So, I'm kind of glad that we took that thing with us now. Not gonna lie, it's proved pretty useful for me at least.
And brings us that much closer to another promotion. I'm not really that money hungry, but you know.
You sure?
Reasonably. I mean, like, out of character I am. I don't think Archibald is, but...
Yeah, at least he doesn't have
Oh,
to worry about paying for ammo.
Yeah.
Are any of us, or is anybody on our crew software savvy?
Connor is somewhat. It's a Jai's character. Or, yeah, Lulu's character.
He is just Jai now.
Jai is Jai's character, yeah.
It turns out this entire time we're playing a game within a game.
The game is coming from within the game. I think that move's been done before that.
Oh, I'm sure it has, yeah.
But at some point, Maya's going to have to bug him on software stuff.
Okay.
Not now, though.
All right. So, do you guys want to bug Nox about modding stuff first, or do you want to select your next mission first?
Well,
I have no money.
Let's say next mission, just in case we need to get mods for that next mission.
Okay, that's a good point. So, you've got your mission list, and you've got a little more information on which to base your decision. Have you decided on what you actually? Let me just give you a few minutes. Go ahead and talk about what you want for the Marmoset mission.
Oh, yeah, the Marmoset. Oh. Wait. Were we the No, the Marmoset was the...
No, you're the Marmoset.
Okay, we're the Marmoset. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a name for the NPC ship?
No, they haven't really been.
Okay.
It hasn't really been necessary because I just basically put them on whatever ship is there.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, I mean, the initial one was the drive-in for a world, which I do kind of want to do, but would be our first long mission. And Dexter did, bring up the whole thing. I mean, we're 4 XP away from leveling. But I mean, I guess we could still go with it. I mean, it won't be the end of the world if we're doing it level 3 instead of level 4. Probably.
This being said, this whole LaRube is getting longer and longer the more we leave it.
Yeah, but it's already long, so.
What if it becomes super long?
Then we'll never do it.
Well, I'm looking at it from the possibility that that casino's Roz's biggest source of revenue right now. Isn't that correct?
It's up there. I wouldn't say it's the biggest. Zoe is still doing some active trading, and cooking the books with it to throw Oogie off. She's actually cooking the books even more specifically to throw Oogie off.
Throw Oogie off. Yeah, I know.
That's just the personality that was presented of the character.
Oogie has got things well enough in order by now that he's following along, recognizing that the books are cooked and just not having time to fix it. It's
So
like
yeah.
other people read horror stories, for fun. He's sitting there reading our ledgers in the same spirit.
Oh,
Like a bottle of whiskey.
that's
by the
terrible.
by the fire.
So yeah, the Raza still has some profit coming in from Zoe making smart trades, but her responsibilities are making that like she's just not able to keep that up. The Raza needs some actual sustainable and not run by one single person kind of trade going on. The casino is definitely one of those sources.
All right.
But again, then we also still need to drag Zoe along. And does anyone really want to do that?
Yes.
Actually, yes. I guess y'all have a sense to want to see that.
I mean, we've got a large variety of possibilities here. One of my challenges that I'm looking at is that the two most profit generating things in here, the things that I think that would be best for Raza's solvency, are Daddy Warbucks and Nox Essentials, and they're both long difficulty 12 missions.
Yeah, I was looking at Nox as well.
To the to to kind of give us a boost there, maybe stave things off. But I am worried about Raza's solvency.
It'll be fine. We're not running a business here. We're saving a universe.
But it's one of them. Do we as players go to the Do You Even Lift because of the
Do you use personal touch?
Yes.
I mean, my meta choice there is that that's a short difficulty 6 mission. NPCs could handle it.
Yeah. Or do we do something really thingy?
But I mean, if we would go there to let Oogie do some trading, I mean, we could probably get some good outcomes. But I also don't want to request an Oogie-centered mission.
Don't bother me, mate. I don't think any mission's particular character-based.
I guess one thing with the bro is I get for like big scheme of things would be getting them more producing anti-Vega equipment, right? Because their coal manufacturing thing is very They've got a very powerful
Literal
base.
mass produce, yeah.
Yeah.
That's also why I'm thinking
Like
it'd be good.
for an overall like campaign mission thing, that would be very productive. I don't know that.
Actually, what I was thinking
It
is
speaks
if
to me as a game, but
it's one of them, we could literally do Nox Essentials and Do You Even Lift, and combine efforts in that regard. Where the outcome of one helps the outcome of the other. Because if we get bro mass production, or at least special facilities.
Think that Nox Essentials would be like gameplay wise. I think that would be actually kind of fun. Like I'm almost certain that one's gonna feature combat. So I'm sure Dexter could fit his combat in any of them, but
no, that's definitely gonna have combat in it.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what's. I have some inside knowledge on that, but I don't know if that's necessarily knowledge that we have as characters.
So that's what, us going down to finding a crashed station on an irradiated planet?
Mm-hmm.
And
sounds like
For some context that Oogie and everyone would know, the shipyard actually, the largest in the sector, was crashed onto the planet, was deorbited intentionally, because it had become overrun with a viral agent that made people very aggressive and violent.
Okay, so we do have that knowledge.
You do
maybe
have
not
that
some
knowledge, yeah.
maybe not
I mean,
some specifics, but
is this the same viral agent that we've been dealing with, or a different one?
There were some connections with it.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it. I don't know. I don't think we can confirm that it was a different source at the very least.
It was definitely a different source.
Because it was like from like some old ship that was floating in space, if I remember correctly. But it was at the very least something similar to like the virus. And I am going to guess that yes, there are indeed survivors, quote unquote, still present. So I think that could be a fun action-filled mission.
I'll say it's very likely that there's going to be combat on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. The
You may surprise me and figure out how to avoid it all, but
yeah. I feel like that. We're not as inclined to do that with this group. That is something that I think decided on.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
It was, yeah. That was a stated emphasis for this campaign.
So the yeah, I don't know. I still, if I'm gonna take away the consideration of, I still like driving for a world too, though. It's a tough decision.
I mean, it's one of them. Yeah, the info drive, getting there before the investigation takes place.
The infradrive is the one that lets us sink the Raza temporarily into infraspace, travel through it, and then pop back out again.
It's kind of like a blink drive, but yeah. So essentially, you can travel faster between sectors. You can essentially near instantaneously return, like go to any point where you've been before with it. Presumably though, I don't know if it'll be replicable and put on our ship, but it would be very powerful. It was taken from the Raza itself. It would be a very powerful, like, logistical resource, or even, I guess.
It's one that could help support in the future as well.
I
It'd
mean,
be really
it would
good
certainly
for reputation.
Yeah.
I have a question. Actually,
it definitely it makes the Raza itself, which is already a powerful ship, much more powerful.
I have a question, Dex.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have NPCs part complete a mission? So say if we were to do one mission, we send them on another, we complete ours before them, can then we take over their mission? Like they do the starter work for us? Like information gathering, basically?
It's an interesting idea, but for the theming and atmosphere that I'm going for, I'm going to say no.
Okay.
It's entirely... Okay, so let me back up a little bit from that. What is possible is if they don't succeed, or if you want to tell them not to succeed, the mission stays on hold as it is. This is a meta thing that I decided way long ago, that if you assign NPCs to a mission and they don't succeed, then there's no progression of that mission. It's effectively stalled. I'm not rolling any of the risks. I'm not rolling to see, if Mercure Core reverse engineers the infradrive. For instance, if you sent them on that, the risk that you take doing that would be that if they fail, I do roll to see if anybody dies, or not dies, but is taken out of commission.
I will say one question. What are your thoughts on using resources to, say, stall a mission, as opposed to sending NPCs on it? Does that make sense? I don't know if that's something we would really want to do, but
I mean, it's one of them because I'm thinking for that. Was it driving for a world? I believe it's GM that I'm going to investigate. So if we were to spend support to try and delay that effort,
Well,
I'd,
in a long. Oh, good.
I'd still prefer that it be characterized mechanically as NPCs basically involved in that. So the way I would characterize that in the mechanics is you send the NPCs to the mission, and um, give them all the chances, all the rerolls, but say that if they succeed it, then they've still just stalled it and left it available to you.
so you're saying basically allow us to send them on a difficult mission just to stall it,
Yeah.
effectively.
Mhm.
Along with what Ben was asking earlier, though, and I don't know if this reframing of the question changes anything, with the idea of starting a mission so that we can finish it, converting a long mission into a short mission by having sent NPCs to it while we go and do a different short mission.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Oh,
yeah, I mean that's kind of what one avenue I meant was with like
Okay.
the information gathering part. Like literally, they'd go in, get the groundwork done in
Yeah.
essence.
Sorry, I didn't get that, but
That's alright. It's alright.
I think that sounds reasonable.
So if we go do you even lift, which is short, send some NPCs to get started on drive-in for a world, and then we relieve them halfway through.
Now the mechanic to that would be they actually have to succeed the skill check.
Understood. Yeah. In order to half complete the mission.
Yeah. Now, is the reason that you want to have them half complete it and then you take over on the next turn so that you can try and get more bonuses?
No, I'm just thinking if it was a lower skill check just to delay it and then we'd have a better chance of succeeding it. That's the line of thinking I was going for.
Oh, and I was thinking about it more from the perspective of there's certain missions here which I think are more interesting or useful to us that we don't necessarily want to let simmer much longer. And I guess I was also thinking long missions taking 8 sessions is not. I kind of like the 4 sessions to an arc.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
It does seem
It's
like
half of
it,
one.
it's a lot to choose between when you're talking about 8 sessions versus 4 sessions to get something done. But
Right. Yeah.
I realize that was the one of the premise really when we were starting, but it's a lot. It's just so many choices. The decision paralysis becomes worse, I think.
Well,
sorry.
And among
No,
other
fine.
things,
stuff we got to figure out.
There's this sensation of playing a tactical mini game here, so not necessarily getting more bonuses or more payouts. Just we have to manage all of these ongoing crises effectively, and so I'm trying to think about different tools and different ways of approaching them to maximize our ability to handle all of these crises.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to think of it that way, like an XCOM or something.
I mean, that's literally how I'm thinking of it.
And
it's not so much like, oh, I want to get this supplies, I want to get this engineer, I want to get this whatever. It's more just like, oh, I want to get that because it's, let's say, expiring, but also because it has a nice payout, but also to prevent other people from accessing it.
So let me there's one kind of little niche that's been weighing on me, and so I'm going to ask if this is weighing into your considerations at all. Ben, you had earlier on said that it would be it seemed more beneficial to do Nox Essentials and then speak to the bro, because at that point you've got schematics that perhaps the bro could use. Did I hear that right?
Yes, that is literally, yeah.
If you wanted to send NPCs for the Do You Even Lift while you went and did Nox Essentials, I don't mind adjusting the timing of those so that your success in Nox Essentials can carry some benefit over to the NPC mission. I'm already playing timey-wimey stuff with the mission durations so that everybody's back at Kamiego at the same time. And so if that's part of your, or if that's a large part of your consideration, then I don't see any benefit to me as a GM to rule out you contributing to the do you even lift mission. In fact, that could even be
not to mention even.
Hmm?
I want to say it's not really too much of an issue of. I mean, imagine the NPCs trading on the information that they will soon have that anyways.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
sure,
also thinking of it like it's like an honor kind of thing. Like, hey, look, we've got this. We want you to be the first to like do it, kind of thing.
In fact, I think the points that you spend in support of the NPCs to give them extra roles can even kind of represent that some Raza assets or support network or logistics, whatever it is, are being used to shotgun the schematics over to the NPCs just in time for them to make a presentation with it.
I mean, that's if we even go with that combo.
Right, but keep that into your consideration that if you want to kind of combo like that, I'm amenable to it. You don't need to hold a mission so that you can do it with information that you're about to get.
So, do we want to look at Driving for a World, Daddy Warbooks, or Nox for our main? What's everyone thinking for our mission?
I'm still more driving for a world or not
Yeah.
secondary if we're gonna go with a long mission.
I mean, it makes sense for us to go.
I'm not gonna worry about the long versus short really, but those both seem the most.
Yeah, to be fair, I ain't even pay much attention to that.
I just wanted to go explore some direct ships or stations.
Nox Essentials would be my vote then. The just looking at it from the tactical standpoint, getting the infra drive for the Raza would provide us with a single highly useful tactical asset. Whereas if we can recover some useful schematics, we could then perhaps outfit Raza with more ships with better capabilities.
I mean, that's why I like the Nox and Bro matchup.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm partial to the Raza. Look, there may be bias involved.
Understandable.
Of course, that same bias applies to kind of want to say I kind of see Turrid sometime. So you used to be cool. It's probably my vote for short mission. But
yeah, I not really caring that much about the short, long XP kind of deal.
Yeah. I think in the long run that's not important. It will be really awkward if like something was like you fill a check by 1 that would have been 1 point higher.
Or you take exactly as many hit points and damage as you currently have, and you would have had at least 1 more.
Yeah, it'd be real awkward.
Except we also know that if we go and do a short mission, then everything goes up to tier 4, and it wouldn't even be the same mission anymore.
Yeah, that's true too.
I am enjoying evolving those. I wanted it to feel like the world is still moving on without you.
That's stressful.
I know, video games these days don't do that. Every single mission waits for you. And I don't like
no, some games do that.
No, I know. Some do.
I just not necessarily as big a fan of them as I might have used to be.
What
I
time frame
think-
are we calling games these days?
I don't even know.
What time frame are we calling games?
Yeah, from like 2010, 2009, 2008, what?
I think he means Nox means games these days as an entire phrase, not just games.
So,
I don't understand the distinction, but that's not
Like-
important.
I mean,
No,
alright,
no, I
let's
was like,
think of it
if
this way.
games these days includes, games from the early 2000s, specific example out of nowhere, 2002, Mega Man 01 did that.
Oh yeah, evolved the levels that you didn't
Oh,
choose
the
first,
stages.
didn't it?
As you complete missions, there were time frames where things would happen, and your ability to complete those missions depended partially on whether you've completed other specific missions.
Yep.
I mean, not to put ideas in Dex's head, but I'm guessing if we leave this Nox Essentials, maybe certain
Well, there's other
blueprints become unavailable.
not to
Certain what
mention
things
more
become unavailable?
Blueprints.
Yeah, well, there's almost certainly going to be other scavengers there too. Yeah, and they may be very much so interested in making sure that those don't exist anymore, except in their databanks.
Yeah.
They have.
The final line on that is be on the lookout for other mercenary teams.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I mean it's explicitly stated there, but that indicates that yes, there is going to be other interest in that and competition. So it being left alone means something will change.
Is it
Yep.
possible? I doubt that it is, and it doesn't matter too much if it is. But would it be possible at any point to kind of assemble a third team to add more forestalling efforts?
There it is. You will get a second NPC team at 10 assets, and then another at 15. I
Okay.
think I have it going up by every 5, but there may be a gap at the high end.
Okay, so assets suddenly seem like a pretty solid thing to go for.
Mhm. I'm just saying though, if we get the Infodrive, we could probably start calling in the Raza as a port. Y'all should see some of the problems that having the Raza can solve. We solved a lot of issues without facing actual combat, thanks to the Raza.
Has the
Raza being in
infradrive
airspace because it shuts things down.
has the infradrive ever been operational?
Not in our campaign, no.
Right. It was by accounts, it was operational when Porcelain was flying the Raza. Immediately, well, in the several years before the events that started the first campaign.
So, like in universe, yes.
Mhm.
In
Okay.
actual player campaign, no.
And
Oh.
so here's my worry. Does the Raza having an infradrive create circumstances that are favorable to the Vega invasion?
We
I
don't
mean,
know.
what, like every time we use it, you leave a little
Like-
hole.
Yes.
I mean, that's literally what I'm thinking as well.
I mean,
think about
a
the
little
time
hole
frame.
out in the middle of space though ain't gonna do much.
But if
Yeah,
you
'cause it needs
poke enough
people to stay
holes,
open.
I mean, it might be an issue if you start outfitting entire fleets with it. I
So-
don't know.
But so my thinking though is, okay, so the events, the Vega invasion as we know it started a few years after they started using the infradrive on the Raza.
I'm sorry, but how long have they been on fighting the planet we were just on, the Theocracy? It's been going,
yeah,
and they're using
hundreds of
pre-tech,
years.
and the condensers are pre-tech, and they've existed for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think I don't know. Maybe that's something you're going up the line to Jai as a concern, but as a player, like I don't think that's a reasonable concern. I don't think that's an actual concern that we're looking at. Like, I don't
Okay.
think that'll be an issue.
And yes, it
Like, I don't know.
was. Sorry, real quick. It is one available mission commander for every 5 points in assets.
Cool.
So, what are we going for? Drive, infra drive, or upgrading, or money?
I'll say that infra drive is the Roz's white whale. Or infra drive's Moby Dick. Or Roz's Moby Dick.
Well, I vote for Nox. Is that what we can do? Nox and Bro.
Your support.
Hmm?
I said I appreciate your support.
No. Because I vote that Nox gets to choose the mission.
Yeah,
I
come on,
think-
Nox.
I think that Nox Bro pairing works great, so I'm down with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I do like the idea of pairing, like actually tying the missions together in relevancy. That's a good approach.
Also, it's one of them.
And-
It would help to carry on the, I guess, momentum that we had with the Bro. If we did it sooner rather than later as well.
And hey, maybe we can convince. You know, here's an idea. Maybe we convince the Bro to help us put down perimeter. I imagine that's probably going to cause issues, but it's a thought. I don't even. Where is perimeter even based?
Their presence is suspected and at times felt in Panjati Varul 0603.
Because
Where
yeah,
the,
I mean,
where the Trin
so
were.
presumably, so their actual base is not really a known information. Because their presence is known throughout the sector occasionally, right?
Right. The Raza has
It's
had the most interactions with them in Panjati Varul.
Yeah,
If
because they're
you-
doing their whole blockade on the Trin survivors.
Right. If you recall, when you went down to the planet, they were mysteriously a disabled ship. Right. I'm trying to remember, making sure I'm on the right campaign here. So they were a mysteriously disabled ship that asked you for assistance. And remember, Libra actually came on board with the explicit instructions to search for Trin.
Yes.
They
were hiding Nova in like a closet or something.
Yeah. They knew that you were there and at the planet, so they either have a base there or they have constant monitoring in that system. So that's the one place where you know they're always at.
Unless they have a base on Kalia. But it seems like an unpleasant planet.
It's even worse than the planet they dropped the Trin on.
Yep. At least the planet the Trin live on has breathable air. Though I think it has like allergens, right?
Yeah, it's got a very hostile biosphere that with
Yeah.
very dangerous allergens. Yes.
But at least it doesn't melt your skin.
Right. That is a benefit.
Yes. So better than Kalia.
All right. So are you changing your vote from drive-in to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
The Nox unpairing.
Okay. See the flaw in using 3 question marks. Can't just double click them and get all 3.
Aha.
All right. And so you've got your mission commander going to do you even lift? 3. All right. Who do you want on your ship, and who do you want handling the Ox?
Well, we're handling the Nox.
Oh,
Right?
sorry. Yeah. The bro. Yeah.
Oh.
Put people back over here.
Who's our best musclehead diplomat?
Oh.
Name's Harry.
I still not get him a token? What is going on here? Double check this.
I mean,
Oh,
Amico
there we go.
maybe? I
He's
don't
got
know
a
really that Amico is really diplomatic at all. Probably not.
Is Harry a choosable person?
Yes. He is not all
Oh.
that terribly great at crew skills, so he well,
I forgot about Harry.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he'd fit right in there.
He is charismatic
He's built.
and a leader. And he's built, yeah.
is.
I think those are all the qualities you need for the bro.
Yeah, he's pretty laid back. I mean, he's a leader, but he certainly didn't.
Certainly didn't. My audio cut out again.
So I certainly didn't have too many. I was just say laid back because he didn't have too many issues leaving his prior job behind as basically a mayor, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys had opened his eyes to some of the things that were actually happening.
True. Yeah, the actual government, the actual I guess the shadow government. What was it, the angelic choir or something like that?
How can you call anything that produces so much light a shadow government? Come on.
I mean, it was a shadow government, Dex. Come on. Can't fool me.
I want a comic relief outcome for that mission. So let's pair Harry with Armstrong.
Armstrong might actually. I mean, they are very literal, aren't they?
Armstrong is very literal, yes.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about the bro too.
Oh yeah, yes they are.
So Armstrong might actually be good for that mission. I think that's I don't know. Have we seen Armstrong interact with bro yet?
You have not.
Have we seen Armstrong interact with Harry yet?
No.
I mean,
they don't share any
interests.
interests.
Not being there.
I don't see anything wrong with this.
And between those two pictures and just kind of what we know about the characters and what have you, it's like a movie starring The Rock and Timothy Chalamet.
Are you all on board with the odd coupling?
I don't see anyone. Yeah, it sounds like everyone. Anyone? Any issues? Speak
No,
now,
I'm not against it.
Good. Also, what's this about a Doom mod?
Oh, that was
yeah.
a mod that had been uncovered at Changi in
Oh yeah.
They
Kali's databases, right?
Exactly. Not Kali's databases. Changi's databases.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Kali was Changi. The other station.
Yeah. Okay.
The station that Kali wanted to blow up.
Okay.
Kali
did blow up.
I guess I was gonna say I'm pretty sure Kali did kind of blow it up, but then it drifted out of range, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I do. That does give me a want for a 1 amp component, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do need to find more amp components. Speaking of which, did we? Oh, we didn't get components from the condenser, did we?
You did not.
No, we blew it up.
You know what we didn't discuss yet? Which NPCs get experience from this last series of missions?
Yes, I had just written down that Quiet River gets promoted because Quiet River was the only one that is promotable among him and Libra.
Yep.
So I did totally forget to do that over the several weeks I had. On your ship, who do you want to gain the XP?
I mean, given their involvement in the mission, Riley.
Oh, interesting choice.
I was gonna say Saul's involvement too, but yeah, it's pretty much Saul and Riley's really all that actually did anything.
Reasons.
I guess technically Sunny did patch up Oogie, but
Yeah, Sonny's actually already capped out.
oh,
Elena, Sunny,
Is Elena not capped out?
yeah, no,
No, I
Elena
think-
and Sunny are capped out.
yeah.
Okay, I was gonna
the
say.
ones that are capped out.
She's
Saul's
our
got-
highest level NPC.
Saul's a G2.
Is he?
Saul's a G2. That's right.
Oh, so he's capped out too. Okay.
So
Well, I guess it's Riley then.
Or is she unpromotable?
Unless
Is that what they use stands for?
Riley is special, so
she is
might be a little
special.
early.
But if you want to put that promotion to her, I will work something out for her. She did step up at the end of that.
I mean, considering her age, I think she did okay for the mission. I mean, obviously
Right.
not like A+ material, but
and
I'd give it a solid
Artificially
B.
aged her, but with experience.
she did experience a lot in that mission.
Yep.
So I will make her an available NPC for basically for her leveling up.
My vote's for Riley then.
I mean, Riley's the only other one in the options that actually that was really participating on that one. So I just can't really see putting on anyone else.
Yeah.
Much as I would like to see Notario go up. I like the adrenaline junkie. Almost made a.
Now you guys don't have to go just on what we see them perform on screen.
But it's more satisfying.
Sure, I get that. Okay, fair enough.
And I'll be honest, I mean, between Oogie having a budding, like father parental relationship with Riley, and just the fact that I like the character, I want to see excuses to give her more screen time.
Okay.
I like Riley.
Well, and also, I mean, if you're thinking like Min Max too, she's probably also in the long run going to be one of the most useful NPCs. I mean, if you're, that's not really my, like I said, I'm just saying like the most.
I'm
satisfying
getting your
because of the-
chocolate in my peanut butter.
Until we get to part
You
3.
got
of this
your
episode,
peanut
when
butter
we
on
get
my
to deal with the
chocolate.
Psychological effects of children in war.
All right.
We could also discuss the ethics of having brain damage to people in war.
Look, Zoe came out fine after all the events of universe, right? Or not universe, but the
I think
prequel.
Zoe was a little bit too broken before the game started.
what? No.
Yeah, she's not a good sample. Sorry.
Also, she started the campaign having her memories removed, which was ultimately a good thing for her. We can't, fix Riley.
Yeah, remember that the whole brain damaging Zoe turned out to make her a much better person.
What? You really think she's better than the kid that wanted to see the maid's face cut off?
So,
Is she
Claire and
really
Ben,
better than that?
the characterization of pre-wipe Zoe as just a kid growing up is one of the richest, most entitled kids on the richest planet. She was an absolute terror.
Yes, like reviewing her memories was one of them was I wonder what the maid looks like with her face cut off. Right? I'm remembering that correctly,
Yep.
aren't I?
And
Okay.
if I recall, you also got to a memory wherein Zoe didn't like being scolded in school, so literally made the teacher stand up and get up and stand in the corner.
All right. So, anyways, it's 5 o'clock, so we probably should finish selecting
wow,
our.
it is.
We should
5 o'clock
probably
somewhere.
finish picking our. Oh yeah,
Yes.
5 o'clock here.
my personal crew.
I didn't expect this intermission to go all the way till our end time. So yeah, let's go ahead and we don't need to do any review. We've already done everything I had for review in the session. I will stay after for review if anybody wants to bring anything up. But for now, yep. Tell me who's on your ship. Are you keeping Elena?
Elena deserves some R&R.
Okay, so you're bringing on a new captain.
Do we have anybody else across the entire Raza crew who's captain qualified and isn't already on the other ship?
I think I had actually said last time that Elena was basically permanent on your ship.
Oh, did you?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might.
Yeah, and it really isn't Elena's personality to take advantage of an R&R. She wants to be working. She feels so well treated by Raza that she is putting everything into it.
Okay.
She
I
may
mean-
not be meant. I don't know if that's a healthy mindset personally, but
I mean, it can be.
Because Oogie is pushing to have Ivan on board as well this time.
Ah.
oh well.
Rattlesnake Chili. Oogie is he wants Ivan close at hand.
You do remember the issue with that, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Elena gets some R&R.
And that's why he wanted to push Elena off. Yeah.
Not.
Ivan is going to be in the boiler room for the entire mission.
And it's a smaller. Oh man, it was bad enough on the Raza, and this ship is way smaller.
Yep. But hey, that gives
Look.
me an opportunity to bring back one of these stalls that I did not use in our first mission.
Well, we have to break up a fight. Do we ever actually? I don't know if we ever actually broke up a fight. But
Did
they were
Raza
getting
ever
alarming.
make like an HR department?
All right,
Right.
so
So actually, in fact, one of the things I should mention is we can have one fewer command staff because I got Oogie up to lead one.
okay. Raza still wants somebody other than the mission team in command of the ship when you guys are doing your thing.
Sure. I mean, that's Elena, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, you only need one command staff from the NPCs.
Yeah.
The rest you just need to make sure that you've got sufficient crew that can do the necessary duties on the ship, because you're not expected to do any of those.
Is Natario a gunner?
She's capable.
Kind of, yeah. Like she's still a rank 1, but she probably would be, right? I think we've had her man the gun drop pod once.
We're probably going to want a guard with us. Drop Wenzel, I think.
Yeah, more military on this one than this will be. I think this one will be more open conflict.
Then we should probably drop Riley.
Yeah, no, I don't think we bring Riley on this mission.
Okay. Which of the guards are you looking at?
So Saul's already a guard too, right? How many should we just bring in? I mean,
Somebody promotable, presumably. I kind of consider Elena and Sunny to be permanent staff on the ship, unless we're giving them shore leave.
I think that's fine for now. Might revisit that later, but I'd kind of like to see Natalia ranked up at some point. So
Okay.
We bring Natario, we bring Ivan, and then one more.
We don't actually have to bring Ivan.
look, I mean
If we have
it'll
anybody
be fine. I
if
don't
we have
think we're
anybody
gonna
that's,
break the mission.
assigned to Raza HR, we'll bring them as a third party.
Wait, say that again?
If we bring Ivan, we'll spend our other slot bringing in someone that's part of Raza HR.
Which additional guard is best suited to de-escalate between the two of them?
Alexi.
No pressure.
Probably Fairbanks. Fairbanks was a culture guard on SOS.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen Fairbanks much lately. I think we're gonna bring a guard that makes sense.
Okay, so you want to bring Fairbanks as a Ivan Elena babysitter?
Yeah, you know.
And why did we bring Lily Grace before? Was she a scientist?
She's a technician, and I think you just needed somebody else that had like hands in the engine, basically.
Oh yeah, an engineer.
See, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 4 crew. The ship requires 5 people that are basically dedicated to overseeing the running of the ship, and Lily Grace counted as one of those.
Okay.
All ship crew count as them as well.
Let me see. Okay, and so yeah, we could technically spend quite a few NPCs. Well, I guess crew-wise, the de-escalation. I feel like Gwen is probably the most. If you really want to cement the de-escalate, try to soften the blow of Elena Ivan on the same ship. I think Gwen is probably the best one, right?
Who would intensify the conflict between them into a way that we could film and market it as a web series?
Still vote that Alexi is a good third. Get the whole
triangle going.
The SOS crew back together.
Get the SOS crew back together. I mean,
Alexi was also good at de-escalating.
I guess that's fine then. Yeah, I guess they could spend some. Yeah, I guess they could do some together as a crew. That's fine by me.
Did you want Lily Grace? Organize these folks.
I don't see any issues. Maybe if something comes up, maybe look at it, promoting her or not. We'll see. I'm fine with Lily Grace.
These are vaguely organized in. Oh, this area is crew folk. That's your 5 essential, and then bottom left is extras.
Yep, 2 guards and medic.
Okay. All right. Are you good with that arrangement?
Yes.
Last question, and then I'll let you all go. Are you spending any of your spendable resources to improve the mission commander's roles for do you even lift? And by improve, I mean if they fail a roll, then you can buy this twice. They get a reroll.
I can't see what Harry's number is, but they're going to get +1 at least to the roll, right?
Oh yeah.
And they're only looking for a 6?
Harry has a +2 to skills.
Oh, that reminds me. Is Armstrong? Okay, Armstrong can still see 1. So they're eligible for promotion.
And there's the Harry's crew still. So he technically sort of counts as
leveled up Armstrong?
Hmm.
I know, right? We haven't promoted Armstrong yet.
He'll get promoted after this if he survives.
Well, because
they're like my favorite though.
Because Armstrong in the last campaign, I was characterizing the promotions as having more actual responsibility.
Oh, right? Yeah, like actual leadership.
Yeah,
material.
I've pivoted on that to where no, it just represents their general skill. Whether they've got leadership or are in a position of leadership depends on if you put them there.
Well, it also kind of makes sense in context because presumably the organization itself has people to be like higher paid, promoted individuals that are specialists rather than leaders.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was a bad on my part from the last campaign, and I have learned from it.
No, I don't. I think it was okay in last game. Like I said, I think the context has changed.
Oh, fair enough.
Is what I was saying. I think it's a realistic change in context that makes it reasonable now, where it wasn't before.
Okay.
It's 1 point for 1 reroll. Is that right?
For a mission in because you have made it more friendly, yes, it is.
I say we can very easily offer them 2 support. We have an abundance of that at the moment.
Yep.
And I mean, even though it's an incredibly easy mission, I mean that pretty much guarantees it.
And I guess
Yeah.
over the next week, if we can think of any way to use any of these other resources, we may as well give it some thought. This is probably an assets is like physical, like ships and crew, right?
And finances. I mean, you can use assets
finances.
as
Okay.
just a straight bribe for something.
Okay.
I mean, would support be like we send them with full color printed brochures of everything that Raza as an organization has to offer to the UN?
No, support is as written. Support is supposed to be how far your message and influence has spread. And so when you spend support, it's somebody on the ground, it's somebody not Raza, that's giving you information. Support is supposed to be information only. Assets is supposed to be actionable.
I know you put this somewhere in Discord, but I don't see it pinned.
I may not have pinned it.
Yeah, was it under planning or was it discussion?
Let's see.
Because I do remember there were descriptions of it.
And then if anybody has mods or whatever, definitely bring that Amaya's way.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that later when I have more money that's not spent on heavy machine guns. Tragic, I know.
I spent on the kinetic inversion wraps, which were detailed in the chat.
Yep.
There, I have pinned it.
I have brought up a thing, not now, but for a future project that would kind of be neat on the anti-ghost gauntlets.
We can talk about that more later.
Yeah. It's a future project thing anyways. I'm working on a project right now. But I just wanted to make that known so it wasn't just a thing in the back rooms. And then suddenly,
right.
there's a thing!
Legit, okay.
I have no punch skill.
I guess so assets
I can't
could be used
test
to...
that anyways.
This could be used to bribe like some of the mercenaries that we run into. That's a thing. That would be a good use if we need to spend some of those.
Okay. I'm not gonna hold you guys any longer. I know you all have lives outside of this game. I'm happy to sit here and continue talking to anybody that does want to keep talking. Let's see.
I'm on the road. I'm here against my will.
But you guys are all set up to start on Nox Essentials next week, and coordinating that with Do You Even Lift under Harry as a mission commander. And Armstrong is a specialist.
What could go wrong?
The Harry Armstrong combo.
We'll find out what could go wrong.
Look, I'm just waiting to hear that Armstrong kicked it off and leaves us to join the bro. Because I understand these people.
Armstrong's a bro at heart.
Could be.
Never would have imagined that Armstrong would be a total bro.
Alright. Thank you all. That was you made the intermission far more roleplay and entertaining than I had imagined as like the lowest bar. So I'm glad the intermission here was not a boring session. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah.